I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
Timed that perfectly.
Yeah, very well done. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if y'all can hear us okay. Welcome to the show. Sunday afternoon. What is it? June 2nd, 2024.
Yeehaw.
And Corex, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing pretty good.
I am almost over whatever illness I had. Cold,
That's
allergies,
good.
I don't know what. I mean, mostly bothering me now trying to sleep in the middle of the night, but I'm feeling a lot better. I was able to eat a good meal today, and now we're ready to have a beer. And you know how I spent most of my day reading a 1,598-page lawsuit.
Oh, can you send me the cliff notes? Because I don't know if you saw the tweet I posted, because last night after the live stream that I did, I went to one of those like PDF summarizers, and it's like, the document is too long for us. So I'm like, no!
I spent the better part of my day, and I really am, to be honest, this is what I call the Al versus the world lawsuit.
Because it really fucking is.
I mean, he's suing dozens and dozens of defendants, and I'm trying to give it, a fair shake. I always try and approach everything honestly, even though, of course, I have my preconceived bias because I've dealt with Al on a personal level for several years. So I have my preconceived bias going into it, but I still try and give everything, as I'm reading a legal filing, a fair shake. And so I'm taking my time going through it and looking at what his claims and weighing it. And I only made it the better part of the day today. I'm only on about page 50 out of 1,598. That's how methodically I'm going through it and fact checking what he's saying. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? I have like 30 more days to go.
We could do a live stream in a month.
I mean, can you imagine if how much is AMC gonna have to, and all these other
I don't think that what I think
attorneys
what I think most of them will do is just be like, look, this complaint is defective. It doesn't change anything. He's added more defendants, if anything. Like it's the same. They'll just say it's the same puzzle pleadings and stuff all over again, and just try and save on lawyers' fees by like, look, he had his chance for the second time to amend this complaint and it's still deficient.
Yeah. And I saw your comment yesterday, and it's true. He didn't have a prayer for relief, a demand for relief at the end of 1,600 pages.
Or any causes of action.
What do you do if you're a judge? I mean, in some countries, if there's no demand for relief, they toss the case. I don't know if I don't know how it works in the U.S.
Well, especially when you've already been given a chance to amend your complaint, and I don't know.
I don't know. I wish I was an attorney. I mean, there were a lot of things that I wish I could say I was a failed this and that. I wish I could say I was a failed attorney, like I went to law school and didn't finish. But it's always on my wish list. You know, maybe after I get my next little letters after my name.
Maybe when I become YouTube famous, I'll go back to school for that.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's how I spent the better part of my day. And let's see what else. We're going to talk about some Roaring Kitty and some more GameStop today. Welcome if this is your first time here. We are on part 3. And just for those who don't know me, I have been an on and off investor of GameStop for the last 3 years. I did the buy and hold thing for a little while. I did not participate in any of the run-ups in GameStop in January and June of 2021, but I watched them. I was watching it all unfold, and I ended up picking AMC at that time in June, and made a decent amount of coin in that run up with call options. But the whole, knowing the lore of Keith Gill, I wouldn't say that I am an expert in it because I didn't live through it day by day since July of 2020. But I have gone back over the last several years and watched a lot of his stuff. And, now that he came back 2 weeks ago, it became more, I think, relevant to me to go back and revisit some of his original content and see, what was Keith Gill really all about back in 2020, leading up to the first bump in January 2021, and then the follow-up later in the year. How was he analyzing this play? How did his views on it shift, if at all? Like we already know from part 1 and 2 that he was very much a hardcore value investor, as much as myself or more so. And he saw a company that was clearly undervalued, with the book value under the market cap underneath the book value, with enough cash on the balance sheet and a console refresh cycle coming up, that he thought the shorts might have it wrong. And it turns out he was right. At least we'll say he's right, because the shorts ended up getting wrecked. And I'm just curious, as we progress through these, if we can notice any shift in his sentiment about, he knew the short interest was high, right? We saw that on part 1 and 2. The short interest was 100%, but that wasn't his main focus in the first,
right,
4 months.
It was more on the fundamentals of the company, and that was a nice little icing on the cake.
Yeah, he was like, he would mention it. Oh yeah, maybe this is crazy to be 100% short, but he wasn't talking like short squeeze to the moon. This video here that I picked out for us today is late September. And since he started talking about it in July, GameStop was now up already 136%. The next one that we do in part 4, and the other reason I picked this one out is this was the first one that I saw that he had the title, "Has the Short Squeeze Kicked Off?" You can see it up there at the top of the screen. So I'm curious to hear what he says about the short squeeze. The next one that I have picked out for part 4, whenever we do the next one of this series, is where the short interest was up to 120%. And then I have another video after that for part 5 where the short interest was 140%. So those should be interesting. But as far as my own personal thesis in GameStop right now, just so we're clear, I still would prefer to invest in it in a point where, if I'm going to invest in it for the long term as an investor, if I was just a GameStop channel covering GameStop, I'd be talking about the financials, talking about if it was undervalued or overvalued relative to those financials. But at this moment in time, Corex, I think we're right now at $20 and coming off the Keith Gill thing 2 weeks ago, and the options chain in June still being pretty loaded up in a couple of weeks, not this week necessarily. There's still some volatility potential for speculators, day traders, that could make this an interesting day trade. So that's how I'm approaching it in this coming week. I'm not going to talk to you guys about GameStop as a fundamental play, because it's still overvalued, even with $2 billion on the balance sheet, just from a profits to earnings to price perspective, book value to price. But as we talked about last week, the potential, I think, has shifted in GameStop's favor. So we got to add in to whatever our fundamental analysis is. We need to add in some sentiment or potential bonus to the fair value price, because that $2 billion gives them a lot of opportunity if they use it wisely to transform the company, maybe acquire somebody that, you know, that is profitable, because the company itself is not expected to, you know, really be profitable this year. A penny, 2 pennies based on same store, you know, revenues and sales. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they have, you know, some other stuff up their sleeve. I can only talk about the numbers they turn in. I'm not one of those channels that forecasts, you know, wild revenue things that I can't substantiate.
Hidden profits.
Yeah, hidden profits. And the next real console refresh is not till 2026. So
yeah,
I just got to go by, you know, what I know and what the professional analysts say. And I'll leave the speculating up to the other channels. And if that's their thing, that's great. If you're more of a value investor and wanting to get more of an even keel analysis, that's what we'll be covering here. So that's enough of a spiel from me. Do you want to just tell us your thoughts before we get into the video?
It'll be interesting because, like, I've seen some of Keith Gill stuff. Like, I stole how he does his whole spreadsheet thing in Excel and keeping track of, like, almost like a screener, as it was, of the stocks you're following and things like that. But I've never really dove into his live streams about GameStop. So I always find his analysis of things interesting. I realize I'm going to have a bit more of a bearish sentiment as someone who's already shorted GameStop 3 separate times in the past few months. So you can send your hate mail for me to nelsonwillis3@gmail.com.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I do not short stocks. I have never shorted a single stock in my life. Never even applied to short stocks. But if I
would not recommend it unless you you have the ability to keep a close eye on your portfolio, have the collateral to be able to see yourself get ruined, and are very circumspect about what you do. Like, what I do is dangerous for most retail investors and probably not for you.
Every time I think about, well, maybe I should learn how to short stocks, because some of these stocks run way up, and then, you know, I got to buy puts if I want to capture the downside, but then I'm fighting the IV. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
When it runs up and you're trying to buy a put, it could run all the way back down and you still hadn't broke even on your damn put. So then half the time I'm like, well, shit, I can't even buy puts. I guess I just got to wait for it to calm down. Yeah. But every time I think about applying for shorting or thinking about shorting, I go watch one of the YouTube channels that specializes in shorting, and the title's like "How I Lost $200,000 in 1 hour." And I'm like, yeah.
One of the short sellers that I follow is like, you know, if you're a retail investor and you're short selling, don't.
Yeah,
these are the professionals,
right? So, yeah, you better have good risk management skills, and you better be able to sit there and watch it all the time. I'm more bullish GameStop long term. I haven't, like I said, I guess than Corax.
I tend more towards neutral to slightly bearish. It really depends on what the company does with the money they have. They have a potential opportunity still. It's all about execution at this point.
The only reason I would call myself a hesitant bull is, you know, over the last couple of years, the price has just been too high. And
exactly.
So I said at the beginning of this year, it would hit $10 this year. It did. And then we got a bounce, which we're letting play out right now, and we'll see what happens. And I made a little bit of money on that run up, not as much as some people. Hat tip to you if you sold anywhere between 40 and 80 bucks.
Oh,
damn good job. And so now I'm kind of waiting to see where it settles back down to, and decide my next entry for whatever the next leg up is. And we have earnings on GameStop June 11th, I think. Is that right? Yeah, the 11th.
Yeah,
Tuesday after hours. So this video, like I said, is September 21st. I've got the chart up here. I'm just looking at it because on his screen there, he's just got the 1 day. When he started talking about it in July, it was at 475 or something like that. And now we're up at 875, 929 after hours. So let's get into it. Let's see what he has to say. And if he gets boring, and
we can always skip ahead. Hey,
we can skip
maybe
ahead,
we should do like we did last night where it was at 1 1/4 speed.
Yeah, good idea. And I'll put on the closed captions too hey, I was going to ask you, Corex, too, if you could think about it, turn on closed captions on your default settings when you live stream, if you can.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Because sometimes I'm just saying, like if, my wife and I are hanging out in the same room and she's trying to watch TV and I'm trying to watch your live stream. She's always like, "Can you turn that down?" that girl is so loud.
Oh, Amy. Love you, Amy. But
yeah, but I would like to turn it down, but then it gets to the point where I can't hear you guys, and
yeah.
So just
I'll keep that in mind.
And we do have, all of us have hearing impaired viewers, and if you think about turning on closed captions, it does help them out. All right, let's get started with Keith. Oh, I forgot to change the speed, 1.25.
Tick tock, tick tock. only on the Roaring Kitty GME live stream can this stock be down 8% if we arrive here to chill for a mood. You know what I mean? Huh? What a riot this is. Big news today. Big news today. Y'all know what we talk about. We talk about Ryan Cohen. The filing that so many people were waiting for. So many days we've been talking about just that potential updated 13D. It always did seem a little bit weird that it wasn't that 9.9% that we saw last time, but here we got it. Here it is. Read it and weep. I actually think this particular 13D, this amendment that we see, is pretty damn bullish, because there was we didn't really know what his intention was.
I didn't even know you could do custom speed
publicly. We didn't even know if he'd interacted with management. Now we got confirmation. Dude's in. He's involved. He's going to be talking with management. Also, I know some people talking about a potential buyout and stuff. I've said how I didn't think necessarily that was my base case per se. It didn't seem like that was going to be his intentions. And I'd say from what I can see, it seems like maybe he's just going to serve as a bit of an advisory role of sorts. In particular, I mean, if we scroll down to the section that's of the where the hell is the purpose of the transaction? Right here, right? This is the big thing. Boop. Beep, beep, boop. So we're saying during September 2020, Ryan Cohen had conversations and communications with senior management, several members of the board, concerning his view of the company. During these conversations, reporting person expressed their willingness to become more involved in the company under certain circumstances. They believe it likely to produce the best results for all shareholders. Sick! Let's go! You know what I mean? Oh, I forgot to cheers. Cheers, everybody.
So
it's just such exciting news.
Every time he says cheers, you have to take a drink.
Oh, shit.
Damn. I'm forget the order. There's no order. Who cares? But, I mean, this is crazy. So... clearly interacting with management. We got a little bit more, just a couple sentences, right? But still,
I just want to say, from
during the stream, refresh it. The SEC website. Here you go.
He's
right at 9.98.
He's always energetic. He's always projecting himself, and that's really great for generating content and things like that. Like I noticed that some things that a lot of YouTubers don't focus on is some of the little things, like your personality, your persona, how you present your thumbnails, the different little elements that make you stick with your audience a little better. And he's always got this like down to earth sort of, I don't want to call it an aw shucks personality, but
he's always got a smile on his face too.
Yeah.
Even when he's getting trolled, he deals with it very graciously. Like, I wish I could be. I strive every day to get better and friendlier, and definitely have, strive to be more energetic on camera. Like, you just don't realize sometimes how boring you are until your kid watches your video and says, "Dad, you're going to need to turn up the energy." And then you go, because I don't rewatch my videos, but in the beginning when my son watched, he's like, "Dad, no."
That's one of the things that I do, maybe not intentionally, because sometimes I'll take clips out of live streams to try and, if people because I know me personally, I don't like, if I want to watch a live stream, I'm going to watch it live. And if it's not live, then I have a hard time sitting through the whole thing. So I tend to make like clips of the important parts. And so I end up rewatching my content and sometimes going, you know what, if I did that maybe differently, that would be better.
I'm just a very calm, laid back person. So, if I'm just like normal on camera, it is really, really boring. Yeah. So I have to remember to be on on 110%.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to film. But for him, I'm sure it's completely natural. I mean, this seems like his natural personality. I wish I was like that, but I'm more of a, a data analyst, engineering type personality, not a, what would you call the life of the party? The guy that's out there dancing with no drinks,
kind
making
of an
everybody
A-type
laugh.
Personality.
Yeah. All right, let's go, Keith.
That's a nice clean number. I always thought it was weird too. Not 9.9, but also he wasn't at like a clean 6.5 million or whatever it was. I always thought, like, it's always easier to have nice clean figures. It's just easier on the books if you get a nice round number. So he got there. Oh, a little bit of a typo there. I didn't see that. There's a 0 missing. Hey, Ryan Cohen, heads up. You got a little 0 missing. You might have to amend this with maybe some future purchases. No, I'm kidding. So, that's the big news today, huh? I think it's.
What did he say?
So I think
he says you got a typo there. You're missing a 0. You're probably going to have to you should amend that filing with some extra purchases.
See, I hear that same sentiment right now. Like, maybe they're buying right now.
I think the reason I think it's especially bullish, there's always the possibility too that he buys more. Maybe this is this first filing before he buys more. But even if not, the real bullish thing here is this item for this purpose of the transaction, because I know some folks, myself included, were like, even though I didn't think it was the base case that he was going to take it out, but I'm like, there's so much upside here. If you're long GameStop, you're like, you would hope that it doesn't get taken out to become a private company at too much of a discount price, because that's not good, because you're hoping for this tremendous upside where it could be potential 4-bagger, 5-bagger, even some people talk about 10-bagger, right? There's just a lot of upside opportunity. Doesn't even happen. But if you get taken out of
companies that are like value plays, like he had, like I bought Huntington Built-In Partners and it got bought out, and a couple of these other value plays that got bought out. I had the same sentiment as he did. It's like, I want to own this company that's so good, but nobody sees it. But I see where the potential is, and you're missing out on all that upside. But as I've kind of gone along, the more of these plays that I've been in, and now that I'm in Kirk, when they announced that they said that they're going to have their buyout, I've just been like, you know what? Getting that money guaranteed up front, I'll take it. Like, maybe I'm missing out on a little bit of my upside, but there's risk between there and now.
Yep.
So like, there's a bit of a trade-off there that you have to understand when you're in these sort of M&A situations. Though I don't think Keith thought it was an M&A situation, but he kept the possibility open, because you never know, especially when something's so deeply discounted into the market. There may be a company that comes in and says, hey, we'll buy this out at this price. So I get his sentiment, but
I mean,
you got to kind of weigh that back and forth.
He was also, I think, thinking that was a possibility, because, I mean, let's face it, the market cap of the company was so cheap, it would have been an easy buyout target for someone at that time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, like if AMC dropped down to a couple $100 million market cap, I'd be thinking someone would buy it out potentially then too. But AMC has all that debt, so who would really want to buy it? And GameStop only had a few $100 million in debt.
Yeah.
Discount price, that sucks. So there's always that. What's Ryan Cohen going to do? And now it's looking. So this is why I think this is a good sign. He's interacting with management, and I like how he says too, best results for all shareholders. And I interpret this as all shareholders, including the Roaring Kitty, the folks at the Roaring Kitty crew, the Roaring Kitty. He's looking over us, right, Cohen? He knows. He's probably on the stream, right? We figure. Oh, well, cheers, Ryan Cohen. Cheers.
So he started out watching Roaring Kitty, and then he moved on to watching the Pee Pee Show, huh?
Oh no. That seems like a very vast slide in content.
For all we know, Keith Gill is watching right now. So Keith, cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
I doubt Ryan Cohen's watching, but
Giggles, who cares? Oh, I didn't even look how much. What is how much shares did trade? Nothing, right? Yeah. Oh, where was it? After hours? Just curious. Yeah, 250. So it's nothing. So let's see what it does tomorrow. And of course, it was down today, right? It was down almost 8%, but like the whole market was down, right? I'm sure people know this. But it held up okay. Remember, again, I was saying, like, it's such a good opportunity for GameStop to get its ass kicked. You get the whole market selling off. If this thesis is falling apart, this is a great opportunity. Get crushed. And it doesn't happen. So, and then you get this filing today, and then the Xbox tomorrow, the Xbox pre-orders. Holy shit, right? Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, this was the point in time where the Xbox was just about to show up in stores, I think, too. The new Xbox.
Which would have been a good thing for sales as far
as. Right. I think one of his videos before or after this was talking about lines out the door waiting for people to pick up consoles.
Well, I remember the last time that I got a console on launch day. I know it's going to seem like a millennia ago, but I sat out in front of the Target and got a Nintendo Wii on launch day, which was a great decision because for the preceding year, nobody could fucking get one.
What bad news? If you're short, what bad news? What are you waiting for? Like, what do you think's gonna happen? What's gonna get filed? What is gonna catch us by surprise? Is sentiment suddenly gonna turn negative here? You need the chart. If you're bearish or you're short, you need this chart to head south. You need to get it back on your side.
The bear should have fucking listened to him. I'm just saying, from everything I've heard him say.
Well, it's in the same way of like when I'm long in a position, I want to have the I follow short sellers because I want to, or the bears because I want to hear the other side. Well, in this case, yeah, in the opposite direction. If you're short, like
what the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah,
back then.
Like as someone who is and has shorted some of these parabolic stocks recently, or some of these companies that I think have inflated value, you have to be very sensitive to the upside risk because, like Tony always says, like that upside risk can come and rip your fucking socks off. And so if you hear people saying like, well, GameStop's got this console launch, you got all this bullish sentiment that could build up from the sales, you got, people coming in. He was even talking about how the market was down, and that even didn't get GameStop to retreat that far from its highs. You have to, and it's up 136% since its lows. Like, at what point do you seriously have to be like, you know what, I'll cash profits, I'll let it run up to wherever it's going to, and then I can always put the position back on? Because that's the situation that I've always had with, like, either if it's GameStop, AMC, Palantir, some of these like kind of floating a bit too lofty stocks that I've shorted. It's like I get to it too low. And one of the favorite sayings from a friend of mine that I love is, if it's a good enough to take a screenshot, it's good enough to take profits.
Yep.
And so it gets too low, and I'm like, this is a good time to just get out. And if it goes lower, I can always put the position back on. If it goes higher, good, I'll get to ride it back down again. But what?
If I tried to put myself in the mind of a bear right now, they're probably saying this was 136% run up on what? A declining brick and mortar store. And we're going to be able to knock it back down. But what they didn't count, I think what they didn't factor in enough was the company was undervalued, when you compare it to book.
Which should have been your big sign as a short seller, that maybe things aren't as bad as you think they are.
Right.
Because I look at short selling from a fundamental analysis side of things. And so if you're seeing stuff like that in the financials and in the ratios and the analysis, you have to go,
And you should have been a little bit worried about what the next quarter revenues and profits were going to look like with the consoles coming out. So I'm just saying, still, even though it's up 136%, maybe they were a little overconfident, but it seems kind of dumb.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
When we have a 700% run up, I get it. You want to short it up there, right?
Right.
But 100%, on a $4 stock, that's really not that much. You shouldn't get too comfortable. And they were already 100% loaded when it was $5.
It's still looking good, and I just think maybe if you're short, you're hoping for that a bad Q3. But so they were so outspoken about it on the conference call, which short-term day traders maybe didn't like, but that it could already be priced in. And at that point, the consoles were already out.
Yeah.
They're coming out in November. That could be front of mind. So
that's the reason I'm not short heading into this really GameStop earnings, like because I think too much of the downside's already been priced in by the news that people are thinking that this quarter is going to be pretty bad for them already anyway. And so
I actually think the opposite. I think the market, like Wall Street, knows the bad news is priced in, but I think retail has not hit them how bad the news is for this upcoming quarter. That's my perspective. Just me personally right now. I think people are detached from what the numbers really are. So the saving grace for retail on the 11th is that there would be some surprise announcement. There's no call scheduled. The numbers are not good. And I mean, show me by what metric the numbers are good. but it doesn't really matter until we get past about June 20th and we see what happens with that options chain, or we get past June 11th and we see if the shorts really try and come in and smack it down. I have a hard time saying exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, because you never know heading into earnings, like that precipice right before it. Even with options, we have you get that high IV because it's a binary play. It's either yes or no, and until yes or no happens, it's like what's it? It's like the Schrodinger's cat thing. I would not dead and alive until you open the box.
I would not want to be short, going into this earnings, because I think retail sentiment and excitement is still really, really high.
Yeah,
this week and maybe next week. And they keep on, the social media influencers keep talking up that June 20th options chain. So, and I looked at, we'll get a reset on the options chain open interest for next week. If you guys don't know, open interest updates once per day in the morning. So whatever you're seeing for open interest on the options chain, that will reset. We'll get fresh numbers on Monday morning. But what I saw on Friday for this coming week was kind of tepid. It's not till the third week of June that it gets really, really interesting. But that changes, that changes by the day. You know how it goes.
I mean, it was still down 8% today. It could have gone up, and it didn't go up, right? But like we said, I assume it was like a 90% of this move is explained. I think I even have it up. Look at the markets. Oh, it only ended down. No, is this futures? Hold on. Let me just see. What would the market end up down today? I don't even know. Oh, is this it? Oh, I thought it ended worse. That's not so bad. Okay. But yeah, small caps down 3.5%. Like GameStop could have got its ass kicked today, and you would have been like, yeah, all right. So it is still held up 8%, but holding up 8% down 3.5% is pretty damn good. But even still, all right, it needed to turn around. And then as as time passes, and even as the chart retests some lows and stuff, that can be healthy. It can be constructive for the chart. It sounds crazy. It sounds counterintuitive, but truly, that's what the books say. You don't hold me to it. Don't hold me to it. The technical analyst, not me. So this looks constructive. It looks good. And then let's see where we get tomorrow. And then we always say, how could this chart look more bullish? Well, it keeps going up. If it keeps going up, that's bullish. So let's see what happens now. But shit, this is a good update. I wasn't kidding too. It seems like every time there's going to be a stream, we get some good news. This is sick, right? This is sick. Let's go. Okay. Let's see. We got some people. Hey, Henry. Hey, cheers, Henry. Henry made his comment on the live chat like 3 days ago. Henry was there early. Welcome, Henry. Cheers. Junior 9.9%. Yep.
Did he say cheers again?
Roaring Kitty. Sorry, I meant Roaring Kitty.
He said cheers, guys. You got a drink. I've only got 2 beers left.
I'm gonna be so wasted by the end of this live stream.
I've got 2 beers, so that's my limit. I got to pace myself. I'm going to have to make a trip to the store tomorrow.
They want to reveal your identity. Yeah. Hugo was saying that I'm Ryan Cohen, secretly in stealth. Yeah, right. Harsh cheers.
Oh, did he say cheers twice?
Oh, Jesus. Down your drink, I guess.
Wait,
I'm not doing that.
Let's replay. Come on, be a man.
This is a good update. I wasn't kidding, too. It seems like every time there's going to be a stream, we get some good news.
We got backstage sick, Ryan Cohen here.
This is sick. Let's go. Okay. Let's see. We got some people. Hey, Henry. Hey, cheers, Henry. Henry made his comment on the live chat like 3 days ago. Henry was there early. Welcome, Henry. Cheers. Junior 9.9%. Yep. Hugo. Hi, Mr. Roaring Kitty. Sorry, I meant Roaring Kitty. I didn't want to reveal your identity. Yeah. Hugo was saying that I'm Ryan Cohen, secretly in stealth. Yeah, right. Harsh cheers. Party time.
Yeah, that's 2 cheers there.
I already got 1 in, so here comes number 2. This is gonna be a rough night. I can already
party time.
That's why we started early, because I want to be up.
Exactly.
I wanted to be up early in the morning. We're gonna try and cut this at between the 2 and 3 hour mark tonight. Because
sounds good.
We ain't out of the woods yet, right? We ain't out of the woods. But as we say, you can enjoy this shit right now. There's no victory laps to be taken. It is still in my opinion, very early in this. But it's maybe harsh. Anyone who's been long GameStop for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, you just enjoy this ride. You enjoy the ride. And if you're managing a position, maybe you're adding and trimming, timing accordingly. But you just enjoy this ride and just making sure that the thesis isn't falling apart. You're making sure it's staying intact. And it seems like not only fully intact, it seems like it's getting more robust.
I feel what I mean?
It's like it's strengthening. It's strengthening. Maybe the price action doesn't reflect that yet, but this is what I mean. All along,
you feel like what?
I feel like I'm living this right now, minus the short squeeze part. He's like, you're buying and trimming, and you're keeping an eye on it, making sure your thesis is up and everything. It's like this is investing. This is understanding what you own, and not in the like YouTube squawk talk pumper sense of what you own, as in you just buy and hold and you know what you own. It's no, you're keeping an eye on things, the financials. You're moving your position according to what the numbers say.
Yep.
This fundamental keeps on unfolding. You're like, that's good. Let's wait till Ryan Cohen maybe adds more. Let's maybe wait till he talks about it. Hasn't talked about it publicly yet, but now we're getting it. You got the updated 13D, increasing his stake. It wasn't a huge amount, right? As you know, if you don't know, with these 13Ds, if it's an activist stake like that, you can see the transactions that he had down at the bottom. You can see that, right? What was it? Was that last Monday, and today he even bought at the 860 range too. So Ryan Cohen's a buyer up till 860, right? He clearly he clearly believes in it, right? That he thinks that there's something here, and he's still buying. He could always buy more too. There's been some speculation maybe he adds some more too. I have who the hell knows? We have no idea. But importantly, he continued to 914. Oh, he continued to add after the earnings, right? He kept at him. He's like, oh, this looks good. And now he's interacting with managers. And one would think if he's this is the whole point. You're an active investor. You're getting more involved. But one would think if he's really getting involved, helping steward the company, where they're heading and all that, that would be good news. It would be fundamentally good news because as we think, many of us think, the guy knows what he's doing, right? Because of the success of Chewy and so forth. But even sentiment-wise, if people start seeing this shit, I'll be curious to see what is the stock going to do tomorrow? What is it going to do tomorrow? Is it going to break through to a new all-time high? Excuse me, not all-time high. 52-week high. For what will be the fourth time in 5 days or something? Tell me that ain't bullish. Fifth time in 4 business days, right? What am I can't do the math in my head. But really, really bullish. And so if you're a long-term investor, you got to be really excited, right? If you're planning on holding this for a number of years in something and you were hoping for huge upside, like 5-bagger, 10-bagger potential, you really like to see this. You don't want to get it snatched out and taken out. You want Ryan Cohen there as like whatever the hell he's doing. You want him if he provides advice, it kind of seems like he knows what he's doing, as indicated by Chewy. But also you just get that quick sentiment change. It can happen quick. Because it's been trading in the damn gutter for so long.
Where it's at right now, that would put it at $9. That would put it between $45 and $80. Wait, no, you got to divide by 4, right? Because they did a 1-for-4 split.
Yes.
So that would be
like $2 a share.
2 to 5-bagger, divide by 4, multiply times 5. $2 to $10.
Yeah.
In today's price.
Yep.
Oh, it's a deep value stock, as everyone knows.
I don't just let that sink in for a second. $2 to $10 is where he was.
And I know you and me, Tony, have talked that where we find fair value for GameStop is somewhere sub $10, which is in line with what he is talking about.
I've done multiple methodologies to derive a fair value, just taking all emotion, all investor sentiment out of it, just normal. What they would teach us in finance, normal fundamental analysis is Michael Pachter is actually correct, somewhere around $7. I'll add in.
I would say that's pretty good.
I'll add in a couple dollars for investor sentiment. I know people.
Well, you can add also in a couple dollars that they get this turnaround off the ground and they do something with the company. So you've got some upside there for that.
But Keith is telling us exactly, the same number that I keep coming back to, and it irritates people. I know that. It irritates people that I say that. That's not me being bearish. I just wanted you guys to hear. This is not the first time that he said something like that, like what the fundamental value of the stock is by any normal Wall Street analysis. And people say, oh, well, Michael Pachter just hates GameStop. Okay. We just heard Keith say price target in the same range, and he does not hate GameStop. And the fundamentals weren't anywhere near
as good
back then, but he's assuming that they fix the fundamentals. So we could maybe add a little bit to it for that. Now we could add a little bit to it, but let's keep going. I don't want to dwell on that. I just want to keep grounded in reality, because I don't want people to think I'm being bearish when I'm doing my analysis.
Well, and I don't think that either one of us are being particularly bearish. Like I said, you say you kind of lean bullish and I kind of lean bearish, but we're kind of in the middle here of I can't get a feel one way or the other to make a hard line stance. I have my personal bias. There's opportunities that I can see here, but I think we're I mean, unless you have a bias that you're trying to project onto us, I'd say that we're pretty like objective as far as.
There's two concerns, I think. Like if you're sitting out the play like I am right now, the number one concern would be that it starts running up and people are going to say, well, you're going to miss out. And I'm not going to miss out because I'm up every day in pre-market and it takes me 2 seconds to hit the buy button. So
yeah,
I'm not going to miss out on any run up. Don't worry about that. But the other thing, if I was going to be a longer term investor, I would feel, bad if I missed the bottom, if I miscalled the bottom. Like if I'm trying to wait for it to come back down to 12 and it never goes below 20. But I can be patient here for a few weeks and see what it does after earnings. And
right.
I think I'll be okay either way. If it comes down after earnings, then my thesis of being patient will pay off. And if it starts running for some reason, I just hop in. I didn't lose anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a battleground deep value stock. And because of that, how many times have we said this on the stream? You just need that narrative to shift, and it can flip. It can flip positive. It can happen quickly because of all these weird things going on with GameStop. So it's just crazy. We're seeing it in real time. It's just it's so funny. It's sick that we got the stream going right now because we're seeing it unfold. Again, no victory laps or anything like that. But if you're long, the stuff isn't. It's all unfolding as you would hope it would.
The victory laps.
Dennis Peak, are you ready for tomorrow? 9.9%. Cheers, Dennis. Cheers.
Cheers.
Harsh
Oh Jesus! Oh my God, he's gonna kill us.
He's
gonna kill us.
Cheers.
I'm just gonna take one long guzzle. Good enough. It's only whiskey, guys. It's not gonna kill me.
You're drinking whiskey? Holy shit.
I didn't have any beer and I didn't have any cider. I only had whiskey. So
when I'm done with the beer, all I've got left is tequila. So Lord help me.
Oh no, you're in a worse spot than I am.
How much Adderall do you think Keith took? Christ is King. I don't know.
Oh, thank you, Harsh. I'm glad you like that. Yes, I've been trying to mix it up. I got a couple.
It doesn't help that we're on 1.25, so he sounds a lot more hot.
Yeah, we are. I have sped it up. 1.2. Did you know you could do custom speed? Correct.
Someone in the comments mentioned.
Yeah. Guilty Gunner says, "Will you be looking at other stocks tonight?" Not tonight, unfortunately.
Couple new songs too. I'm going to be testing out just so we get some stuff on to play during the credits. Mix it up. Add some variety to it. We have a good time during the stream. Let's try to mix it up just so we can enjoy the opening too. I'm glad you liked it though. The kitty videos too, of course, right? Steve, cheers, Steve. Cheers. Big day for the shorts and the bulls.
No, stop!
He did.
Make it stop.
He did. Yes, we will do another live stream where we don't talk about GameStop this week. 4 cheers. That was 4 cheers. I'm going to have to go grab the second beer.
Oh, that was the entire rest of the rocks glass. Oh, that was rough. Even for honey whiskey. Oh.
All right, let me go grab my last beer. Hang on.
I'm going to get some coals started too. Oh my God. Oh.
Woo! Guilty Gunner says, does the Discord cost money? The Discord is available, Guilty Gunner, to anybody who is a member of the channel. So I'm on Discord basically all day because I'm here trading from, I don't know, whenever I wake up, 4, 5, 6 in the morning till after market close. And if YouTube has just gotten really bad with trolls and, people want to talk about penny stocks when I'm trying to live stream and make money. What do you think about what do you think about the FFIE short squeeze and the BNED short squeeze? I don't, those are dangerous tickers for me to be talking about because people are always looking for someone to blame when they come crashing down. And I'm tired of the blame game. So we'll talk about stocks in the Discord. but you have to be a member of the channel. It's 16 cents a day, $5 a month.
As far as for my Discord, there are perks for members, but
the perks of mine is your $5 goes to offset all of the tools that I pay for. And if you add up,
same here. You're paying my Pacer bills.
Restream, Dilution Tracker, Ortex, Fintel, yada yada yada, Morningstar. You know, every subscription that I pay for is $75 to $100 a month. You start adding up 5, 6, 10 of those. That's where your $5 is going. It's not to make me rich. Trust me.
There you go. You got $2 for your pocket there, Tony.
Thank you. 8 fathers, man, child. God bless you too. Thank you. I love him. He always says that. What do you say? 8 fathers casino is going to cause the short squeeze.
Oh no! Wow.
Piling in, Bulls remaining hopeful and Ryan Cohen. Lots to talk about here. Oh yeah, Ryan Cohen. Oh, Hugo. Now I kind of get your joke. Ryan Cohen, RC, Roaring Kitty, RK. That is kind of close. I went over my head. Woo! Oh, I got a new kitty shirt. Check this. Oh, I've worn it before, I think, but
now I'm changing my drink. So I had a regular IPA, the last one of the 6-pack.
Oh, I can feel it now.
And now this we're doing the last one of these sour blackberry streusel ale.
Get one of those
by Blue Owl.
Last night.
My wife brought these last week. I've been looking for them for 2 months, just because the flavor sounded interesting. So this is.
If I can't find it in stores up here, I'm gonna send you an envelope with
some
money to go get me some.
Yeah, I mean, if I find another one, she found it. I've been looking for 2 months. This is a local brewery, and she saw it at our.
Maybe we'll just
HEB.
Maybe we'll just do a beer exchange. I'll find something here in Kansas that you like. You find that, and then we'll meet up somewhere and do an exchange. I'll get a.
I have a UPS account with a discounted rate by package size, so I can just send you a box with a prepaid label, and you can send it back. How about that?
Sounds good.
I've got every box size imaginable over here.
There's this place over in I think it's Weston, Missouri. That's like a brewery. Maybe there's something there. I can take some pictures and send them to you. Or there's some interesting places that I go to on my work trips that are breweries. Maybe something will catch your interest or something. I can feel the whiskey starting to hit me. This is gonna be an interesting string.
Hey, Father's Man-Child says, I talk penny stocks as swing trades. Yeah, a lot of people ask me about Barnes & Noble, and I don't want to get...
I would stay the fuck away from Barnes & Noble.
Here's what I said to everybody that asked me about it. It's a fantastic volatility trade, or it was, but you must be aware that they're about to increase the float from 53 million to 1.6 billion. And especially if you didn't participate in the rights offering, your ownership of the company is going to get wiped out, your percentage of ownership. So if you're planning to hold through that event, that's why the shorts are so tenacious in that play. There's going to be no short interest left in a couple of weeks. Imagine the float going from 50.
Dilute it out, right?
Yeah, the float's going to go from 53 million to 1.6 billion, and then they're going to reverse split it.
Well, I knew that Barnes & Noble was toxic because I was doing puts on it back in, I want to say 2021 or 2020 or 2022, and I made some pretty good money off of those puts. So this company has been struggling for a long time.
I don't have
Audible
anything.
And Amazon has crushed it.
I don't have anything against it. I don't have anything
No.
against
Like, I still shop there occasionally when I want to get a physical book right now.
I'm just saying I can't talk about it on my channel because I'm tired of people trying to blame me. You know, the second I make a video, all of a sudden I told you to buy it. You know, that's how the mentality is. I don't give price targets and I don't tell people to buy stocks, but they love to twist my words. So.
Well, I usually try not to focus too much on that. I have come to the conclusion that I am a heel promotion to these people, and I just bask in it. You were giving me free promotion. Continue to talk shit about me. It feeds me. I drink your tears.
I know.
I drink your milkshake.
I love that they send views to my channel, but
exactly. I drink your milkshake.
But it is irritating that people won't take personal accountability. Anyways, let's move on.
What if it goes to the moon, huh? It didn't go to the moon yet. You don't want to jinx this shit, right? But you don't know. If it goes up to the moon, you got them kitties in space, huh? That could be like there could be a movie, Kitties in Space. I don't know. What do we got? Rob Wheeler. Cheers, Rob. What a freaking day it was. No shit, huh? I mean, first of all, the market's bleeding, right? I mean, it's look real crap. What happened? What's that chart? The chart doesn't look that good in the market, right? Look at that. Oh, see, it kind of got bid up there at the end. I kind of missed that. But yeah, only here you got like your stuff. Oh, 8%. Oh, here it goes. Let's go. It's clearly the chat getting this going. Who gives a shit? Okay, Daily O'Brien, Ryan freaking Combe, baby. Let's go, Daily. What up?
I thought he was gonna say cheers.
It's crazy when we said on Friday too. Like some people were thinking about before the weekend, are we gonna get this finally? Is he gonna do it after hours? And we said if you don't get it, and then what happens? And I think that maybe partially explained today. You always have to bear in mind that this price is dictated by those marginal buyers and sellers. You know what I mean? Like there's some really maybe.
Yeah, nobody drinks Tony under the table. Cupid News, right? You guys have been around. Corex will be asleep at his desk.
Roaring Kitty's gonna drink me under the fucking table. You keep saying cheers.
Did you watch that live stream I did with what was her name? Where she fell out of her chair?
No, but this sounds hilarious.
Yeah, we were playing bingo. Damn it, I can't remember her fucking name. One of our friends.
Hey, NFAWA. Actually, yeah, I did. We had Michael on my live stream, and we absolutely crushed him like a Coke can. So, no, we do have speakers who disagree with our point of view.
Yeah,
I have. And what Tony has also pointed out is a lot of these people are too afraid to show up on the live stream because they're absolute cowards. So I don't know where you're coming from on that one.
Also, the reason I have Corex on is because him and his friends hate people like me, just so you know. Corex, am I lying? All of your friends hate me with a passion.
I wouldn't
right?
say all of them, but there's a contingency, I would say.
Yeah, Corex is my bad guy. If I'm the good guy, he's the bad guy.
Like I said, I know I run our heel promotion over here.
I don't have people on that can't speak like an adult. That's why he's invited. A lot of his friends lie. They use ad hominem attacks. So they're just unfortunately not invited to the channel. But as far as,
you're obviously not blocked because you're talking right now. So the only people that the majority of people who get blocked are people who block me. So I don't know what to say. If they can't handle getting spat at, maybe they should get out of the fucking
just
debate.
Don't act like a 5-year-old. You can come on the channel anytime. All right, let's keep going.
There's some longs who are in this for the long run, right? But the marginal trader, they're the ones who dictate the last price, right? So you're always, that's why the stocks, I think partially explains why the stock sold off after earnings, right? Because everyone's like, it's not squeezing. Oh, there's nothing crazy in here, right? And it sells off. That partially explains it, right? I can't pinpoint it. Yeah, no one can. Who cares? But then today, I'm like, yeah, they didn't get that filing after hours, right? So that although it went green a little bit when it kicked off, I was like, did it just go green a little bit? But it's been.
I want to put American Truthers comment up here real quick. Let's see. He says, don't carry Adam Aaron on your shoulders. I want you guys to go watch my 2 videos. Number 1 is called The CEO Handbook. The second one is called Don't Trust Any CEO. If you watch those 2 videos, guys, you will understand how I view executives. I could give 2 shits about Adam Aaron, but I can think like a executive in a corporation, because I've been an executive in a corporation for 15 years and they are making business decisions, and they're not, as I said in the CEO Handbook video, those are often not going to be decisions that you guys like, that I like. So it's our job to read the financials, read the filings, understand the cash burn, understand if a company's profitable or not, and manage our risk accordingly. All I do as a YouTube content provider is try and tell you guys what is coming down the pipe, what a filing means, without all this hopium bullshit. Some people say, and if I don't tell you there's 2 billion, 5 billion synthetics, you think, or that the company needs to dilute in order to stay solvent, you think I'm carrying Adam on my shoulders. Again, I have an open invitation to any credentialed financial professional. That is, you're a certified financial advisor, a CPA. If you want to come on the channel and put your reputation on the line and convince me that this company would not be bankrupt, AMC, if they had not done what they had done, the invitation has been open for a year. Not one person has taken me up on it. AMC would have been bankrupt if they had not done what they have done. And I will go to the fucking mat, and I will bring on CPAs so that it's not just me, talking as a non-CPA. I will bring on CPAs to defend my side, but bring your side. But you need to be credentialed so we can have a financial discussion about the balance sheet and cash flow statement. I already know it inside and out, but I'm not going to talk with the conspiracy theory people that don't really understand finance. I need somebody who I can look you up on LinkedIn. You're a CPA, you're a CFA, something. Other than that, it's not that I care about Adam. I just care about explaining to you guys why they're doing what they're doing. And then you make your own decisions about whether to hold the stock or not. All right, let's keep going on GameStop.
Doing that in the morning, just kind of like squeezing up a little bit, Then it sold off a little bit, but then it stayed very stable all throughout the day. But here we go. So it's down 8%. You're like, all right, we're gonna be talking about how it held up okay today and how we didn't get and then we got the filing. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So yeah, what a day, what a weird day, huh, Steve? And Rob, yeah, and Daily, everyone's saying the same shit. What a day, yeah. Uber Kicks, welcome, Uber Kicks, welcome. Steve Mazzini, cheers, Steve, cheers. Original Kitty Gang, yeah.
That was 2 cheers.
Oh God. 1, 2. All right, I'm gonna be dead.
The Kitty Gang, is that where Moon Gang started from? Moon Gang.
I'm gonna be on the moon by the time this live stream's over with.
Hopefully, let's hope. I mean, what will be funny? What will be funny is if this does turn into something crazy. Even though that's not the base case, even though we may not think it's likely, but if this does turn into like some crazy,
email, send him an
like
email.
It goes up significantly
this
in a short period of time.
drinking
we'll laugh
game
about
from
this, right? The couple of focus of the now we're getting bigger, huh? We got 50.
Who said that?
Responsible for my death. No, I'm saying I'm gonna find Roaring Kitty's email address, send him an email, and say you fucking killed me Sunday with your cheers. I'm blaming you for the destruction of my liver.
Walt, the man in the middle, says Tony and Noisy. Every time I comment any of your posts on Twitter, I get a follow from beautiful girls with very bad grammar.
I get that every time I @tweet Pulte. It's like, what? I try and block those people.
There are a couple of people, that I don't really like on Twitter, but I check on their posts every now and then. And mostly all I see is those girls replying to them. And so even though those bot accounts aren't following me, I proactively block them. And a lot of times I get 50 or 100 follows a day. I usually, as soon as I notice that it's a chick and she just created her account in May of 2024, then I block them. So I do my best to block bots. I don't really care about my follower account.
What happened, Twitter. Elon? You were supposed to be fighting the bot.
It is horrible, though. I mean, it's so bad I can't even keep up with it.
Yeah.
It's bad. I mean, I do my best to block. I block a lot. I probably have thousands of people blocked on Twitter. Most of them bots.
Yeah.
56 people. Cheers, everybody. 56 people.
Cheers, everybody.
Shit.
What is he saying? 56 people watching?
Wow.
Let's see what he was going to say. 56 people what?
This is sick.
56 people.
If I can get 56 people to be watching this live stream from my end, I'll be hitting the ball.
How did he only have 56 people watching? That's crazy.
That's the thing is like most of the people, like most of these views didn't
look
like
back at these early couple
after the thing happened. He was
just
another YouTuber.
Someone saying Roaring Kitty posted. Let me see if he's pulling my leg. Nope, he's not pulling my leg. All right, let me pull it down to the main screen. Maybe it's going to be an interesting week after all, you guys. It's the reverse Uno card. I've heard people talking about. Oh, you guys can't see this. heard people talking about the reverse Uno
no.
theory.
Hey!
The reverse Uno theory. Let's pull this up here. This is it. This is all we got. 2 minutes.
Hey, Tony, clearly he's talking about this live stream. I'm just too drunk, I guess. Maybe.
Well, I mean, we were live streaming and he commented, so clearly he's watching, right?
Clearly it was about us.
Hey, Keith, if you're watching, can you make your next tweet be something about drinking or cheers? I'm just saying, let me know, Keith, if you're watching. Something with cheers or alcohol in it.
Yeah, there we go. Well, look. If Roaring Kitty does retweet you, cheers, I will finish this right here and now. Bet.
All right. Let me close this out and go back to his video. So do you remember? I remember people talking about the reverse Uno.
Yeah, I've seen him mention that, but I've never really delved too deeply.
I think the reverse Uno was that he was gonna that GameStop was gonna sell shares at a high price and then buy them back at a cheap price. Was that it? Did I got that right? But good Lord, man, I'm gonna regret drinking tonight if he's gonna be tweeting all night and now I got to be up watching the price all night and awake at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh boy. Well, I guess that answers the question if he's coming back or not. I'm going to go ahead and repost this.
Yeah, right. See, I thought he was done. Like this was his whole, he's talking about his story in GameStop and everything. And then ET go home. Like that was the end of it. And then this, it's like,
the cat, the cat is back. Augustine says,
maybe the Cheshire cat. We'll find out if he's a Puka friend of mine or not. I had to retweet it, of course.
I did too.
Yeah.
Part, there's
like, hey, I even give him a free invite. So get ready, Tony. If he asks for the link, you're gonna have to help me out here.
Number of them in the grand scheme of things. We'll be having a laugh about this, right? Oh, that'd be funny. Harsh, haha, you're right. Uber kicks. He's purposely not becoming an insider 10% plus, right? Because if you breach that 10%, you're a little bit of a different insider. So that's very common. You see everyone get up to that 9.9% figure. That's why it's always a little bit weird. Is that like 9.6%? It's like, well, don't you just get to the 9.9? But there he's there, and he's got a nice clean 6.5. That's probably where he's going to be unless he makes a move. He could definitely buy a shit ton more, and he's got plenty of time. I think he's got. We say he has to file promptly. He probably has.
Why couldn't he do that last week when I had calls open? Now he does it the week that I don't have calls.
Well, I'm okay with that because I don't have a short position right now. He can make all the fucking tweets he wants.
Up to 10 days to file an update. I don't know. We'll see. And then thereafter, once you break that, then I think you got to do it like within 2 days. That's what you'll see on Open Insider and stuff. Once you become like an insider like that, you got to file more promptly. But no need. I mean, it's something to think about. But this is already great news. It's like this. He wants to keep at it and take some of the shares off the float, right? Remember that? He just took another 200K out the float, right? I mean, if you're short, what's the? Should I pull it up again? I know it's how many times I pull this up? We know it's 118%.
118%. Holy shit!
Next Monday? I don't know. It should be coming soon. But look at this. If you're short, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not saying it's.
I mean,
gonna work.
Again, like I agree with him. It's like even as someone who does occasionally short sell, like, what are you doing? What are you?
The other thing, that I want to come back to, and I know, there's going to people say, oh, well, this is self-reported or they changed the rules, but he's focused on the reported short interest, which is always what I've tried to do on my channel. And people get really mad. Like, why don't you talk about all the naked shorts? I'm like, because I can't quantify them. Like, where do I start? Like, what number do you want me to start at making up? $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion? What's going to make you happy? I can only report on the data that I got, and that was good enough for him. And I mean, good Lord, if you see 100%, if they could just naked short and never have to report a real number,
why would they need to report in the first place so we could take advantage of it?
Right. And why does cost to borrow go up if they can create infinite naked shorts? Because you're not having to locate anything. You're not having to borrow or worry about someone charging you. You're just fucking naked shorting it. So,
and that's the thing that people keep missing with all these conspiracy theories is like they never go to like the second order effects of Like, if your conspiracy theory was true, why would there ever be a GameStop short squeeze? Because we would never know the short interest.
And you certainly never see. I mean, how much was Barnes and Noble up to? Over 90%. Like, why would it be 90% if they could just create fake shares? I just don't get the logic. Sometimes there, like you said, there's a stopping point where if the number is good, like what they see here, oh yeah, 118%, but as soon as it drops down to 20, oh, that's fake.
Suddenly they have to make up excuses for why it's so low.
Yeah. So for me personally, just so you guys know, if you're one of my longtime viewers, you already know this. I go by reported short interest. It is a regulatory statutory requirement by FINRA and the exchanges that these entities report their short position. Now, could they lie about it? Of course they could lie about it, but data is data, and they will get in trouble if they're lying about it.
And if you don't believe, Tony, that they will get in trouble lying about it, go look at the Sabby case. They will most definitely get in trouble.
I mean, I know, look, the market makers can naked short to their heart's content because they're making a market.
Mm-hmm.
But the market
and they have a requirement still to fulfill those. It's just that they're, like you said, creating a market. And
at the end of the day, they want to end the day flat on their risk. So even if they're naked shorting out the wazoo, they don't want to finish the day that way.
And so they will do things to make sure that they are net neutral. Because their entire business is what I did in the AMC trade. Think of like the AMC Ape arbitration that I did. Think of them doing that all day, every day. They are trying to arbitrate the bid and the ask every trade, every trade, every trade.
This is why, I mean, one of the main reasons that people think I'm paid or they want to sue me, because I won't talk about synthetics. Like, why don't you go fucking sue the people that have told you for 3 years there's billions of synthetics and provided zero evidence?
Or saying that AMC will go to $1 million a share. Or...
Why am I the bad guy for using market data that all the professionals use? All of a sudden now I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
Say it, Ryan Cohen's definitely right. But what are you doing? What's going through your head? I don't know. I don't understand. Good luck. Oh, you got to be getting nervous. You see this file. You probably hope. I mean, if you're short, you're hoping you don't get that 13D filing update from Ryan Cohen. You want him to get out of the stock, or you want him to. I don't even know. I can't. Beep beep boop 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 boop. Damn. Harsh Patel. He will. Okay, Harsh Patel. He will have to amend 13D for that.
Harsh is back.
Well, I don't think so. Harsh, he's that 0. I don't know if he has to.
I wonder what happened to Harsh.
An accurate term.
That little 0. That's.
Yeah, I remember him from our live stream when back in August. In August, he was in Roaring Kitty. So Harsh Patel, if you're around, let us know who you are, buddy. Did you cash out?
We'd love to have you on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to hear his success story.
I'm sorry. I'm saying all these. We'd love to have you on. It's your live stream, Tony.
I think it's not material. It's immaterial, so it's probably fine. You catch typos like that. They just let it ride, which is right, which makes sense. It's not substantive. What do we got? Have to Jordan buy more Cohen. Like, what up, Jordan? What up? Cheers, dude.
Cheers, dude.
Oh shit. I'm gonna have to take ginger sips to get through this.
Buy more. He might buy more. I have no idea. Who knows? That's what I mean. This is. I suppose how it could have been even more bullish if he bought a whole bunch more already, but it might be that it could be even better to get to the 9.9%. Say that you're talking with management, and then thereafter we'll see what happens. I mean, there's any crazy number of scenarios that can happen, right? We can just we can speculate. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Who was it? Someone said, "I'm here for the confirmation bias." Damn it! Oh shit, that's funny. Okay. Also, short uptick restriction tomorrow since it fell more than 10% during the day today. Was it down 10% today? What was the low? I didn't think it was that.
No, it wasn't down 10%.
No, it was down 7.5.
What did it open at? 9.35. Oh right. What did it close at? Oh yeah. All right. I don't know. I wouldn't read too much into that. That's more like
down 7.6.
Uptick restriction stuff.
Yeah,
that's not my specialty, right? I'm just making sure that longer term thesis is unfolding according to plan. Shorts won't be able to manipulate, slow down the rise tomorrow. Yeah, I don't really read too much into that stuff. I
don't read too much into that stuff.
I don't need to be.
What did he say? He doesn't read too much into what?
It's something about shorting, and he said I don't read too much into that stuff.
Let me go back.
I caught it wrong because I know I caught it sort
according
of
to plan. Shorts won't be able to manipulate, slow down the rise tomorrow. Yeah, I don't really.
Boom,
read too
there
much
you
into
go.
that stuff.
I don't read too much into that
benefit being a longer term deep dive.
He's saying shorts won't be able to manipulate the pricing. He's like, yeah, I don't read too much into that shit.
This is, again, just like coming from my heart, what I want some of y'all to hear how people talked before all the nonsense. How legitimate people talked before all the nonsense.
Value investor, I don't need to be thinking about those things too much, but I mean, I appreciate you sharing, Harsh. I don't know enough about it. Anthony Manning, what's good? What up, man? Sierra called it. I plan to sell all Tesla after battery day and go all in GME. You have any idea what price you plan to get out? 15, 25? Nah, no plans right now. Just reading. We're just analyzing as it unfolds here. We got to see. You got to reassess. So what if Ryan Cohen?
Augustine says, do you know who is buying GME right now? I mean, that is a question I've thought about. I'm curious, Corex. I mean, that company raised 933. It was 933 million in a week. And it was an at the market offering. And I see, what's her name? Kristen Shaughnessy.
Oh, that clown.
Yeah. What's her name?
Christian Shaughnessy is.
I want to say, what was that comedy video where he says, it's the Key and Peele dude, Shagga Hennessy. Anyways, you mean Mr. Anyways, I've had a drink. I can't remember the joke. Anyways, she was asking who bought all these shares. You know, like, why isn't there a filing? Someone bought them. Had to have been a short because there wasn't a filing. I don't know. I don't know who bought the shares. Typically, when we see an ATM offering, my default is the sales agents are selling them on the open market to willing buyers, which is
we are finding willing buyers at the fair market price.
I have that as a sound effect in my restream. We are selling to willing buyers with a fair market price. And then the other
shout out North Star to that soundboard clip.
The other clip is something like, you're selling something which has no value. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if retail ponied up $933 million in a week. It sounds like a lot, right? What is that divided by $20? How many shares? How many millions of individual retail traders would have had to pony up money?
Well, I would say one thing to keep in mind when we say retail investors, we're not just talking about me and you. Like, these could be people who are independently, like, I wouldn't say wealthy, but they have a good store of cash. They're not just like Joe Schmo working at the Wendy's. So, I mean, it really depends on each individual buyer, and it would have been really know that.
It would have been about 200,000 people to buy 200 shares. That's not insurmountable.
Exactly.
To get 933 million. I just did the numbers on my calculator. You guys can fact check me. I got around 212,000 people buying 200 shares at $22. Get you around 933 million. I mean, 212,000 is not that many. And you add in a couple of institutions, a couple of high-speed trading firms. I think that Ms. Shaughnessy, or whatever the fuck her name is, to say that one short bought all of those, probably to me feels like a little bit of someone who doesn't understand what an ATM offering is. Could she be right? Absolutely.
Well, she doesn't understand a lot of things, so I mean,
could she be right? Yeah, but
I wouldn't hold my breath on it.
Yeah, I mean, how would you know she's right? There'll be a 13D filing within 10 business days of last Friday.
Look, this is one of those Twitter personalities that if you say anything that seems to contradict anything that she's trying to proffer on Twitter, she'll automatically block you. So I don't put much weight into what she says.
Yeah, I just, when I see her tweet about this stuff, I really want to respond back, but I just, like, what's the point? The fact that she tweeted that already lets me know she doesn't really understand market mechanics or secondary offerings. So she's tapping into the conspiracy bias that people want to hear.
there's just so many different possibilities that I don't have a specific plan. Just tracking as it unfolds, it still seems as though there's quite a bit more upside. Like I said, it feels as though it's in its early, but we all got to reassess where we have a general plan as to what you might do.
Constantly reassessing what the situation is, regardless of what it is
see what the news is, see where we're at, make sure.
Great understanding of how markets work.
Educational on this channel, right? But you always got to manage your position, if you even have one, according to what makes sense for you individually, right? Steve Stonk, I hope Justin from Seeking Alpha
basing your finances based on what you are capable of bearing as a risk.
I always say, like I say a lot of videos, I end them with the phrase manage your risk. Like GameStop is still speculative play until it's wildly profitable. AMC certainly being non-profitable. Mullen, FFIE, Barnes & Noble, these are all speculative plays. Your non-speculative play would be your blue chip profitable companies. Anything else, you need to manage your risk. And if you're taking all your 401k or mortgaging your house with a second mortgage and loading it into speculative play, then you assume the risk. With your decision to do that, you better have done your research prior to, because we don't want to see you have to file a 1,500-page lawsuit 3 years later. You should have done that work before you went in with everything.
Hopes he does too. I saw he posted a couple of things on Seeking Alpha. I'm sure he's excited too. I maybe even liked a couple of his comments. I've liked some things on Seeking Alpha that maybe we'll have time to go through. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see what happens. He may swing by. He's been by. If you don't know, Justin has popped in here. We have we had a good time a couple days ago.
We have also a new tweet on Reddit welcome, from Steven. Potentially Roaring Kitty.
We have what?
1 second, I'll send it to you in the private chat.
All right. I'm refreshing his Twitter now.
Well, this is on Reddit. Apparently, you posted to Super Stonk.
Okay.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. Holy
GME YOLO update June 2nd, 2024.
All right. Let me pull it up here from deep fucking value. All right. Let me move this over to the main screen for the folks.
He has calls at the 20 strike, excuse me, June 21, expiring June 21 of 2024.
Holy
showing that
fuck.
He has 120,000. Price paid $567 on the options premium.
Oh my gosh. This thing gonna be off the hook now.
He's doing 3.5% right now, but he's up 8% on his GameStop position, which he holds 5 million shares in. I now have serious questions because he's been doing all this posting and he has a position still. This seems very
Okay, so he's got, according to this, what I'm seeing, 5 million shares of GameStop worth $115 million, and he's up 8% on it. And he's got 120,000 of the June $20 calls.
Yep.
And he's down 3.5% on those. So he bought those recently, I would presume, or he bought them along. Well, he bought them a long time ago, and he's getting theta.
I guess this is supposed to be his Uno reverse card thing that he recently bought into those call options.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that he owns them, I think people will take as a very bullish. And the fact that he's still in the fucking play.
I'm glad I closed that position on Thursday. I would have gotten my asshole ripped out on Monday.
Yeah, not a good time to be short. All right, share screen. Let's go back to his video.
Folding nicely, drip by drip. You got it, Steven. And now confirmation that Cohen is serious about this as a long-term play really helps pile on the narrative, especially along with all eyes on gaming now. Yeah, right. And Steven, we were saying how you said too, like right around this time these pre-orders are taking place, right? I mean, it's kind of front of mind for a lot of folks. Things sold now. We see the long lines at GameStop, and then Ryan Cohen piles on right at the same time, the day before the Xbox pre-orders and shit. It's like it doesn't. We've been saying how this this is some of the heaviest heaviest negative sentiment for GameStop for this whole year, right? Isn't it getting like heavy for the shorts? It's like suffocating. It's like the bullish news is suffocating. I mean, I've been posting some of this stuff on Twitter here. Like it's like isn't like so much. And again, I'm documenting what you see here. I'm documenting this stuff for my own notes. I'm trying to. I want to remember this stuff. And like here's the stuff that's unfolding in real time.
Papa Pal says GME at 28, and you're glad you're closed. I think he's just for clarity. That's because you were short last week, right? Correct.
Yeah, I'd have to remember what my position was, but I think I was down at. I got in around like I want to say. It's 22 and closed around like 21. It wasn't a huge gain, but it was like a 30% gain. And I took that to the bank and closed it. No, it was on a 30% gain. It was a $30 gain. It was 17%. And I closed it out. And I'm like, look, GME at 28. I'm glad you're closed. Yeah, I'm glad too. Thank you,
if there's bear stuff that I'm missing, you got to send it to me because it's important to document that stuff as well.
Serious heart palpitations right about now.
Yeah, you'd be fucked in the morning. Oh, Corex, since I don't short and since you do, and since I have seen this on social media, I think I already know the answer, but this has been posted on Reddit as a question. Actually, it was posted as a statement.
Okay.
Someone said the shorts get fucked in after market trading because they can't close after hours.
Wrong. I can close after hours if I want to.
I wanted you to say it. Because
now it's.
I don't know why people think the shorts can't close in after hours or pre-market.
Like if you were short via puts, yeah, you can't close in after hours because puts only trade during the regular trading hours.
But a put is not going to wreck you in overnight trading if it goes up $20.
Now, so long as there's pre-market and after hours, I can close. Fidelity's told me there's certain limitations on that. Like I can't like if it's after hours because you have to put in limit orders, there's certain things with that. And they actually recommend that if you want to open or close during after hours, that you call them because it's much easier for you to set up something rather than doing it through Trader their Trader Pro system or on the website, and they can get you a better bid ask.
Where you would get wrecked though is like on a Robinhood overnight trading or a Webull that starts at 4 a.m. If they, let's just say they run the price up to $35.
No, 1337. I'm not shorting it right now. I closed that position already. Like what part of this conversation was hard to follow?
If let me restate that since you were reading his comment. If you were short at, let's say $23 and then Roaring Kitty starts tweeting on a Sunday night and Robinhood overnight trading and then Webull starting at 4 a.m. it runs up to $35 and Fidelity you can't start trading till 7 a.m.
Yeah.
You're already in trouble by then. And there's nothing you can do, right?
Right.
You wake up and you're fucked.
Yep, pretty much.
And you pray that when the added liquidity of Fidelity trading and Interactive Brokers comes in, that maybe there's a blip down, but there could be a melt up too because of short covering. That's a bad situation.
I love how we were doing this live stream and then all of a sudden this news comes out and we can deal with it in real time. It's kind of awesome. Dink.
Crismo says you can close
I totally have Keith Gill on the line.
Crismo says you can absolutely close them at any time. Anytime your broker is open for extended hours trading, right?
Yep.
And the problem is all of these brokers now have different times where you can start trading. However, I know that the big boys, the institutions, have access to secret dark pools that offer 24-hour trading. You guys know that, right? Did you know that, Corex?
That what?
The big institutions have access to dark pools that offer around-the-clock trading. So they can hedge or get out of something, I would think, if they are going to get seriously screwed. But us,
I like to think, Charisma, that I'm a smart dude, but I don't know. The markets have made me look pretty stupid from time to time. I'll admit my foibles as an investor. All of us have them.
yeah.
I appreciate. Cheers to you.
None of us ever make perfect trades. We all just do the best. Yep. And certainly none of us are doing the exact same strategy. And really what I would like is whether or not any of us have the same strategy that we that we discuss like adults and trade ideas and then develop, you know, it either strengthens your thesis or gives you something new to think about. But there's no reason for all the animosity and hatred and vitriol that's going on out there.
It really makes me wonder, like, not as a long-term position, if like I want to stay up till 4 just to see where the market is and how pre-market goes, if I can sneak in on a dip, some sort of like cheap speculative rally, like maybe only like a handful of shares just to play around with it, see what happens.
I mean, look what happened last time 2 weeks ago. It by Monday morning to Tuesday pre-market, it ran up from $17 to $80.
I may mysteriously become sick for work Monday.
Like, is this going to go and everything is like, if you're a bear, essentially like, please stop, because that's how it's been for the longs. 12 damn months, every article, negative article, company's going bankrupt. It's the next blockbuster. They wasted all their money on buybacks, like over and over and over again for months, for as long as I can. I mean, for years even, right?
We put up Roaring Kitty's tweet already, the reverse Uno card. I have sent a message out to him that if he's watching the stream, that his next tweet should be something about drinking or cheers. So we will.
Yeah, so that way we have to guzzle drinks again.
Yeah, that way we will know if he's actually watching.
Acquisitions, management sucks, blah, blah, blah. And it was very, very heavy. And I've long felt that's part of the reason for how long it's taken so damn long for this thesis to unfold. Like I said, I was definitely wrong with the timing. I expected it to happen sooner. Here we are, it's September 21st. I know in a lot of people's eyes this is happening quickly. Maybe it's a short squeeze. It's just temporary, blah, blah, blah. But this shit has been taking forever. And now it's just happening. And it's happening a little bit quick, but not that quick. Like,
he thought taking from July to September was forever. Like, so I buy stock sometimes where I'm telling my people in my Discord, I might be holding this thing 5 years. Now, for him to think July to September is forever, maybe because he's counting on the console refresh. I don't know. Most of mine, you know, that I'm getting into, the value plays don't ever take 5 years. They often play out in just months like this. But it's funny to hear him say that. I thought it would happen faster.
Like we said, not much has changed with the fundamentals. It's roughly the same. It's just starting to pick up. And now it's like all this bullish news is kind of all happening at the same time. It's like, yikes. Whoo, man. All right, what we got? Insurance detective. Cheers and cheers. Cheers. If it can go to 15, no reason it can't go to 25.
Fucking shit, man. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We might have to shut this down.
You're going to kill me, dude. Stop it.
I mean, we said 2 hours. I mean, if you can handle 27 more minutes of
2 hours.
Why does he got to? I wouldn't have made it a cheers game if I knew he said everything in triplicate.
I know, right? Whoo!
Maybe Adam Aaron models. You know how Adam tweets everything 3 times? Maybe he's modeling off a Roaring Kitty.
However, more, this company is in very early stages of an overhaul, and we have no idea how exciting it could be years from now. Video games will love. Yeah, that's a big part of the thesis, right? Video games. It's a thriving industry. That's why you saw in the video. I said this isn't like your traditional cigar butt. It's not like this is like a horse and buggy industry. No one gives a shit about this stuff anymore, right? The gaming it's growing like crazy. Yes, we understand GameStop's current position. It would need to reinvent itself a bit to remain as relevant as it has been in the past, for sure. But this backdrop is sick. Like, is there a better backdrop? Is there a better backdrop for like a brick and mortar retailer, whatever the hell it is that you're selling? I mean, I don't know. Like the way this industry is growing. Maybe there is. I'm not speak out of turn. I'm just just thinking in real time. I don't know. So yeah, video games are super loved. It could go way depends on your time horizon, right? Right, insurance. Like if you're looking at
1337. I did not say Adam Aaron is Roaring Kitty numbnuts. I was commenting that Adam tweets words in triplicate. I'm just making an observation. Calm your tits.
5 years, 10 years. No, yeah, this could. it could go up significantly higher, even if that's only a small probability of that happening. This is the thing. The bears, I believe, have mistakenly always assigned a 0% probability to that outcome, which is ridiculous. That's bad analysis. It was flawed. It's been flawed since the beginning. That's why all these articles and all these, a lot of the bearish authors that I've been reading, I'm like, oh, you're missing, your analysis is either incomplete or lazy. I'm not really sure which it is. It's different for different people. Some people have done thorough analysis, but they're just missing something. And no victory laps yet. It's not over yet. But even if you've assigned only a 5% probability to them just crushing it, looking out 5 years, 10 years, and successfully reinvented themselves, the stock price, what if it goes to $50, $100, and then you weight that into what your
$400. What if it goes to 400?
And I just think that I don't think that, so I don't know what the outcome is, insurance. So we don't know. That's why it's for some people, it's like felt a little bit binary. Like the people are like, it's going to zero, it's a zero, it's going bankrupt, blah, blah, blah. And the other people are like, yo, this could be $50, $100. And that's why it's real difficult. It's a battleground stock. You got people on both sides who are really passionate about their position. And now, right now, at the current time, it looks like it's tilting in favor of the bulls right now. And that I would imagine it's a little bit scary with this short interest. I mean, I just can't even. I don't know. I can't even. Okay. Stephen Hussey could tempt over those crazy Wall Street bets gamblers to GME soon. Yeah, we were talking about that in the last stream, right? If you start getting a lot of folks on board here, where the retail, they talk about the marginal investors who may not own the bulk of the shares, but if it can get bid up by, it could be by retail investors, whomever it is, they're all over the place. That could help feed the narrative. You can start, that stock price starts moving. Excuse me. It just helps feed the narrative. It helps fuel it. It can. We've seen it happen with other stocks. Who was it that mentioned Kodak? You know what I mean? I mean, Kodak and some of the bankrupt stocks too. I mean, there's a ton out there, right? Boy, Kodak's held up pretty well. It's still a damn 5-bagger, huh? I mean, there's been a whole bunch of them. You name them, and some of them go parabolic, right? And it doesn't kind of seem like GameStop has the characteristics that could potentially happen, even if it's a small probability. Yeah. This is what I mean. Same thing with GameStop reinventing itself. Isn't there a small probability, like Stephen here is mentioning, what did he mention? The Wall Street bets gamblers, and then of course Robinhood, and a whole number of anyone who's it's generally retail investors where we might be the marginal investors in the stock. But if you can get their attention, doesn't GameStop seem like it has like the characteristics that could? We said household name, and not that it's a major part of the thesis, but this is more for the shorts than it is for the longs. I know some of the longs we talked about. Let's get everyone amped up, but think about the shorts. That you see what happens in some of these stocks over the past 6 months, over the past 12 months, for a couple of years now, and you see like crazy stuff happening. Like it is so difficult to predict because of some folks might be getting involved with that name. And I think, aren't you a little bit scared with the 100? I don't know what the short interest as a percent of float is right now, but you got to factor that into your model. Even if it's only a 5% chance, you got to factor it in and assign a probability and blah 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 what the upside is. It's so difficult, right, to come up with a precise figure for all that stuff. I get the difficulty, but at least acknowledge it by not continuing to go short when it's already at 100%. You know what I mean? Oh, jeez. Okay. Dale Profits. Wow, 56 viewers. Sick. 156. Yeah, cheer. Thank you, Dale. This is sick. Huh? Yeah, 150. The 100 subs was important because we renamed the channel.
Fuck.
I was waiting to see if he said triple cheers, but we just got one. So.
Oh, good. I might survive this live stream. Oh.
Yeah, someone asked, could they halt GameStop, right now? So Robinhood is
right now it's the 24-hour Robinhood trading, so it's all based on Robinhood's liquidity, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Robinhood has a certain amount of liquidity, a certain amount of in-house shares, a certain amount of risk that they're willing to take to thrash those shares, and then they're gonna, they could easily, if the price runs up enough, they could halt it, and that's in the terms and conditions. And that's just what I mean. It's a very illiquid market. Again. Huh?
You got or someone in the comments. Oh no, that's just saying he already. Okay, that's just someone mentioned.
Yeah, we put up his tweet already, and we put up his Reddit post. So if you want to see those, scroll back. But we're up to speed. If he's doing,
I just saw it again, so I went and checked the Twitter again. But no, it's just the same tweet.
Yeah.
We got the Roaring Kitty channel now. This is I think we had a ton of people on here today, and it's aligned well, like we said, with the good news. This is great. And so many people have like good topics to talk about. Daily O'Brien, welcome, Daily, welcome, guys. If this actually squeezes, 15 to 25 is way undershooting. GameStop could naturally climb to 15-25 range, but 100% plus short interest makes this a ticking time bomb. We will see that happen. That's what I was saying. Big talk. Oh, did you see Watchman earlier this year? That was
wait. What did he just say? 15-25.
Think about the shorts.
You think he's talking about 1,525?
6 months over the past 12 months, for a couple of years now, and you see like crazy stuff happening. Like it's so difficult to predict because of some folks might be getting involved with that name. And I think, aren't you a little bit scared with the 100? I don't know what the short interest as a percent of float is right now, but you got to factor that into your model, even if it's only a 5% chance. You got to factor it in and assign a probability and blah 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 what the upside is. It's so difficult, right, to come up with a precise figure for all that stuff. I get the difficulty, but at least acknowledge it by not continuing to go short when it's already at 100%.
I'd agree with him on that.
Oh,
geez,
okay.
Like he has such an awareness of like if you're short, the things that you need to be aware of, and he's definitely highlighting the risk and how the people who are currently short at this time on the video that we're watching, these are things that you should be watching for. And it just seems like people are so set in the narrative that they've been going with for GameStop that, oh Jesus, this alcohol is really making it hard to
and with Roaring Kitty only having 56 viewers, the Adderall, Fuel, Reddit, all of that has not even kicked in yet at this point.
Yeah.
56 viewers. That is just astonishing.
Viewers sick. 156. Yeah, cheers. Thank you, Dale. This is sick.
You don't have to cheers to that one. I rewinded it.
150.
I wanted to hear his price target.
We renamed the channel. We got the Roaring Kitty channel now. This is I think we had a ton of people on here today, and it's aligned well. Like we said,
see, the problem is that it's on Sunday. It's really hard. Like I see the tweet by. I'm not going to try that name. 2 sheets to the wind, but. How can we leverage this? I think the problem is going to be when pre-market opens, it's going to be already pretty leveraged.
Yeah, I think your only hope right now, if you want to speculate on it, is if you have money in Robinhood and buy it right now. Like my earliest, I have a Webull account. I've got other accounts on bigger brokers that Webull I can start trading at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
my other brokers is 7 a.m.
This is going to be really crazy. I have a feeling. It's going to be like what it was. What was it 3 weeks ago now?
I've seen so many people have like good topics to talk about. Daily O'Brien, welcome, Daily, welcome. Guys, if this actually squeezes 15 to 25.
That brings me a question, Tony. Do you think that they're going to offer another ATM at like?
I don't know if they will, but what I have said on Twitter, or at least on my
Discord, did a mixed offering, so they still have those warrants, right?
They filed a shelf, which I think it was an open shelf, and it would allow them to basically sell anything they want. But if they do a new ATM, they'd need to drop a new prospectus for that. But a direct offering, I think they could do that. A private offering, they could do that without having to do a prospectus. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Just like AMC's got an open shelf, and they can do a debt for equity swap at any time without even notifying us in advance. But I was saying on last week that if GameStop was smart, they saw what happened 2 weeks ago. They already have another prospectus drawn up right now, ready to go and raise another $1 billion in the next run up. Why not? Why the fuck not? You raised $933 million in
that's the goal. Like, I don't want to tinfoil hat time, so don't take me too seriously. But maybe that's his goal, is he's trying to get the stock motivated so that they can get as much capital out of this as they can to do some sort of transition. Yeah,
even if it's going to dilute shareholders again if they do it, but you become almost an unstoppable force when you got $3 billion now and no debt. Why
if you want to do some sort of transition, that's the best position to be in.
Yep. So would they?
Also, I will preface also that this is a lot of alcohol talking too. So let me sober up tomorrow.
I commented that last week, 100% sober. Do they need to? Do they need to do another offering? I don't know, because I don't know what their transition plan is, what their acquisition plan is.
That continues to be the problem we've talked about is if they just said anything at this next earnings call, I think it would help them a lot.
Yeah, but if it was me and they handed me that and I was the CFO, why the fuck not? Why not?
GameStop could naturally climb to 15.25.
All right. He said if it squeezes 50 to 25 is way undershooting GameStop could naturally climb to 15 or 25. Okay, I see what he's saying. Yeah, so their squeeze target was 15 to 25. Kitty's was. That was an undershoot. Marco says, "Can I buy GameStop and Robinhood right now for this price?" What, guys? What is it trading for right now in Robinhood? Can you drop us in the comments what you're seeing? Bendy says, "I just tried to buy some as a limit buy and it auto canceled the order."
We may be seeing liquidity problems already at Robinhood then.
Yeah,
27.58 is what people are calling out in the
and
chat.
that, guys, don't think of that as like turning the buy button off. Again, you're dealing with one broker, and I want you to think of their shares as like inventory, and there's only a certain amount of inventory, and they can't swap with the DTCC or the entire market. So you're dealing with a very tiny liquidity pool, and when that's gone, or they feel like their risk is getting to the point where they're not comfortable, they're just going to cut it. So I would not blame them at this point. They're offering a service to give 24-hour trading, but they're also not going to put them. They're not going to put their neck on the line again. You know what I'm saying?
Range, but 100% plus short interest makes this a ticking time bomb. We will see that happen. That's what I was saying. Tick tock. Oh, did you see Watchmen earlier this year? That was sick. Tick tock. I agree, Daily. Like, that's why people talk about what's the upside.
4K video downloader of a recent download.
Of course, short squeeze. Just forget about it. I mean, that analysis is so messy. No matter what you come up with a figure, I mean, that's acknowledge that garbage in, garbage out. You know what I mean? Like, it could. I agree with you, Daily. Just the upside could be tremendous, but I really lean against betting on something like that. If you're getting involved because of the short squeeze, you got to be careful with something like that. A lot of people think
there we go,
bingo, than they actually do. But to your point, the fun
again, he just is so self-aware of
what did he say? I was reading a message.
He said if you're in it for like just the short squeeze, you got to be careful because I and then I kind of, talked over him, but like he's just so self-aware of all the different factors. Like even if you're in this for the short squeeze play, you need to be careful about what you're doing, and it goes back to like how sophisticated he is with his thesis and all the different factors. And he's always aware of how things can go either way, depending on what he's looking at.
Which is fascinating to me because I really started paying attention to him when he was in Congress saying, I like the stock when it's like $100,
Yeah.
But to hear him, his original thesis, like,
right.
I want to see where did this pivot.
Well, and I think
change.
Regardless of like I think people misunderstood what he was saying during Congress. It's like, I like the stock. He likes the company. He likes the potential for it. And even if it's overvalued now at its current price, he still is going to, like, maybe he should have sold. Like, that's definitely a possible thing to be thinking about, or that he thought about. But he still thinks that it's going to be a good company going forward. I think people misunderstood when he said, I like the stock.
Yeah.
And how he took it. That's just me. Maybe Keith Gill will pop on and tell me that I'm full of shit, in which case I'll eat crow on that.
Chris says, will AMC follow as a sympathy play? I mean, it did last time.
Yeah.
So
which is, again, another reason why I'm glad I closed that short position as well last week.
Gonna happen. Ty Lou, welcome, Ty. Cheers. Kirby Wiseman, cheers, Kirby. Welcome, onward and upward.
Cheers, cheers.
Jesus Christ. You're killing me, Smalls.
Positive uncertainty, G's negative uncertainty for the past year. Exactly, Kirby, right? So that Kirby saying, like, there's still.
How come he's not drinking every time he says cheers? That's the ripoff.
You uncertainty here, right? There's a tremendous amount of uncertainty. What the hell exactly is Ryan Cohen doing? And is all of GameStop's efforts to prepare for the console refresh, is this actually going to work out? We talk about,
I envy you then buying over there in Europe. Market's open right now because, like in Europe, they're 6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, buy some for me. I'll
going. Yeah, buy some for us. We'll send you the money.
I'm just kidding.
blah 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 is actually gonna work. Still a lot of uncertainty, but I agree. It's like positive uncertainty. After a year, I'm like, are they even gonna make it? Are they even gonna make it? No. Calculated YOLO. What up, Calculated? What up? What intrigues me is that
I'm glad someone got the Sandlot reference. Thank you,
regarding
Chris.
GME. He's not even enigmatic at all given his past interview. So I agree with this, Calculated YOLO, and I'd like to at this time bring up, how many times I bring this up, right? So you see, he's not averse to doing the media rounds. This, of course, was as I think Chewy was going public. I think it was June 2019. A lot of this stuff is videos, but he'll go out and talk about this stuff, and people care what he has to say. And there's a whole bunch of articles written about him. And there's a couple. I don't know if they're on this website, but there's a couple where he talks about his stock picks, Apple and Wells Fargo. I forget where it is, but there's a whole damn article about his stock picks. And he hasn't done the media rounds yet with GME. That's not to say he will or anytime sooner, but he certainly could. And I agree. Everyone's excited about the 13D, but wait if he starts making the rounds. Wait till he goes on CNBC talking about this shit, right? What do you? Beep beep boop boop. I just think like that's
what is it? DFB.
What bears? If he goes around doing that,
it's something you get when you drive drunk. Just ask. Just ask. What's his name? That's one of these people who's a finfluencer who got. I know I should know, but I'm not sober right now.
What are you? Are you trying to?
There's one of these guys that got pulled over on a driving while intoxicated DUI. Was Meet Kevin? There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was making a very bad joke about Bendy saying what's a DFV, and I was going to say it's what happens when Meet Kevin gets pulled over intoxicated.
If I'm sure you guys know what DFV is, but if you don't, deep fucking value, which is Roaring Kitty's Reddit name.
Get a little bit nervous. And indeed, it doesn't change the fundamental thesis of GameStop, right? But a little bit it does, just because his involvement could help things. But even still, it's the sentiment that I think he could have a huge impact.
Meet Kevin's video was funny because he thought he was going to charm the guy at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then that he realized after about 30 seconds that wasn't going to work. So he did the smart thing, which was not say anything.
On it because GameStop, I believe, trades so cheaply that if that sentiment flips the other way, look out. And I agree, Calculated. He hasn't done it yet. So there's all these things that haven't totally unfolded yet. But if they do, oh damn. Dennis Peak, cheers from Stock Twix, by the way. Impose 737. Hey.
There's a cheers from Stock Twix.
Oh Jesus God.
I've got about 4 cheers left in this beer. All right. Someone said he tweeted. Let's see if it's a new tweet. It is not a new tweet. 49 minutes ago. Yeah, we pulled that one up. The reverse Uno card. His next tweet, we're going to hang out here a few more minutes and see if he's doing one every hour. And if he's watching, we've put in a special request.
Currently, GameStop is flat at just under 20% at 27.58, which tells me that I think Robinhood's ran out of liquidity.
Yeah,
on
it'll be flat till 4 a.m. now. 4 a.m. Central.
Hey, Dennis didn't post it. Welcome. I joined Stock Twix. I did hop on there that night right after we were talking about it. I hopped on there. Thank you to the kind folks who were saying kind words. I really appreciate that. It's very. I'm glad people are enjoying the stream truly, and sharing it like that too. I mean, that's always great.
Chris says, "What do I think the reverse Uno card means?" I saw people talking about the reverse Uno play last week as I was looking around, and if I recall correctly, and you guys please feel free to correct me if I recall this incorrectly. I thought someone explained it as, what if the price ran up and GameStop was able to sell a bunch of shares at a higher price, and then if the price drops, they're able to buy them back much cheaper.
Like that just sounds like even someone who's bullish on GameStop, like Platinum Sparkle, she was talking about that she was like saying that sounds an awful lot like securities fraud.
Yeah, as a finance guy, like to me that doesn't make logical sense. But I heard people talking about it, and I'd never heard that theory before, and now we got a reverse Uno card here. So
I really
is he predicting something? Is he monitoring social media, and he just spent the last 2 weeks, creating his new tweets to tap into that?
He's taking a gamble. Like reverse Uno card, it sounds like he He's saying he sees the situation. He's going to play his reverse card. He's going to take a long position.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, people were talking about this last week. This was a whole theory that was making the rounds. So is he tapping into what he heard, or was this just random? I don't know. Sparky says, Sparky's in the industry. He says, I don't think companies can do that. Sell on a pump and buy back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, I certainly.
And that gets back to what I was saying with like Platinum Sparkles, where she was like, man, that sounds an awful lot like securities fraud.
Well, she does work for FINRA, right? So she would know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Platinum. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, this is what I love about having this channel is you guys ask so many questions and I have so much free time since I'm unemployed. Wink, wink. You know,
I see you're getting all the people giving us the delayed news that we've already announced in the chat.
Since I sit here and trade all day and spend my day researching, I love that you guys ask me questions like that, because when I have a free moment, I will research it. I'll remember and check later tonight, maybe not in the morning. I will go dig into that and find out what is the answer. Can a company sell shares and then immediately buy them back? I don't know that there's any regulatory rules against doing that, but there could be. It's a great question to research. And if anybody knows for sure, let us know in the comments. Sparky says he does not think that they can, and he probably knows more than I do. So
calls through 28 is let me pull up Weeble and I'll see if I can answer that bendy question of the 28. The highest strike is 128.
I think they did issue some new strikes. I saw someone tweet about that the other day.
Great. Well, obviously we're talking GameStop a lot these days, right? But importantly, I hope we're having fun, right? Having a good time in here, just chilling, kicking back, drinking a beer, maybe smoking some cigars sometime. Yeah. Looking forward to that legit light up, right?
I wish it was beer that I had instead. I'd be doing a lot better right now.
What do we got? A Freeman's. Oh, I'm catching up. This is good. I was talking to.
I'm just going to tell y'all, for those that are just joining in, I had multiple far out of the money calls last week because I'm not willing to buy shares at this price, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to participate if there's a run up. It's just if I'm going to go in on shares, I'd prefer to get them at a much cheaper price. But for a fraction of that price, I can buy some far out of the money calls. And if there's any run up, I'm going to make just as much or more money on those. But they fucking expired on Friday.
Oops.
As
to Bendy's thing, now this could be only just Weeble, but the highest strike I'm seeing at the 21 June strike is $125.
Talking to a friend, and they were like, let's try. I'm going to try to.
Note to self: when your calls are expiring on Friday, buy a few more for the next week before market close.
You never know when Keith Gill's going to tweet.
I mean, that's like a aha light bulb moment. I should have known better. Should have known better.
But just try to see if I can stay on. Because last time it took me like 2 hours and 45 minutes to get through the chat. I'm like, because everyone's saying such good comments, it's like we're gonna talk about some of the same comments.
I could have rolled them too.
You could have.
I could have just rolled them.
Same GameStop comments anyway, because many people are bringing up the solid points in the chat.
I probably could have rolled them for no money out of pocket.
I do not own any T-Mobile.
A Freeman's View. Short squeeze is on. He's going to jack the price up and then buy the whole company. I don't know a Freeman's View. Cheers. Welcome.
Cheers. We got a cheers.
Oh, Jesus.
Brocate. We were talking about T-Mobile in Discord about 4 or 5 months ago. I think I had some for a while, and I'm 99% sure I don't own it anymore. I'm going to pull up the chart. Look at the weekly. I don't remember if I sold it because I made a profit or if I sold it because it wasn't doing anything, but it was 2, 3, 4 months ago when we were talking about it. And I see that 2, 3, 4 months ago, it was trading November, it was trading at 14 and it ran up to 17. So I'm guessing I sold it in that run up. I don't have my brokerage account open right now, but
yeah,
there was a time we were buying it because Congress was buying it, but I don't have any right now, but it's still running. It's at 1822 now.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't hate T-Mobile, and I have traded it recently.
A lot of these, like the one I've been keeping an eye on, but I haven't gotten into it yet, is Verizon, because like a lot of these cell phone companies, they're pretty stable companies.
I just feel weird about saying I'm doing a video like, "Hey guys, I'm buying T-Mobile because Congress is not the best DD in the world," you know. But it was a conversation we had in the Discord.
Welcome. It's still not my base case. But it's definitely a possibility.
Do what Active Trader
because
Pro
you think that if you
says.
were going to buy it, you'd want to buy it on the discount. But some other reasons too that's not my base case. But indeed, it's obviously his involvement seems to be impacting the price already. So it's something to price into your model. Uber Kicks, the Microsoft acquisition of
hang on.
I don't even know how to pronounce it. I've seen it. I know.
Maybe I pulled up the wrong ticker. Sorry. I pulled up AT&T. What is the ticker for T-Mobile? Is it TMUS?
I have no idea.
TMUS. All right. Okay. So I have my chart here with the
125 on Fidelity.
I have my chart here with the I do have my buy on here. Share screen. Weeble, where is that screen? This one. So I bought it.
Oh wow, that huge leg up. Is that Friday or those daily candles or weekly?
I bought it down here at 130, 150 on August of 2023.
Wow, and that thing ran.
So I sold it at some point. I don't see that I have my sell on here, but I'm sure I got out of it profitably. But I'm out of it.
I mean, now. Look at that chart. I don't disagree that.
Yeah, I don't remember where I got out, guys, but there's no doubt I got out of it in the green and probably should have held it. But you know, I'm a big believer in taking profits. So what can I say?
I mean, hey, there's look, you may not catch the exact top, but you know, there's nothing wrong with making money.
Everybody always says, Tony, you never post all your trades. You're right. Because audiences on YouTube suck, and I post my trades in Discord. So
well, not just that, but like you post them more often than I do. Like I'm very much of that kind of person that's like, I don't try and talk my book, but it just feels like
I don't either. Like, I mean, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
What's the fucking point? But I trade a lot.
It's not like anyone like listens to my book anyway.
Even if I made a video about T-Mobile in August, you know how many people would have watched it? About 130. Every fucking trade I made in August, September of last year, they all fucking ran up and nobody fucking watched those videos. And I banked on all of them. But I'm going to make a new playlist that's going to be called Value Plays, Value Stocks. And I'll put all the videos in one place. And as I add them, maybe we can build up an audience of people that want safe plays where you can sleep at night and make market beating returns. Maybe some of y'all are interested in that, but I do them all the time. Not every day. I mean, it takes work to find them.
Oh, I know the announcement, but individual investor, Bethesda, I don't know. Studios could be viewed marginally negative for GameStop, as they've indicated the content will be made available through Game Pass. Yep, there's definitely plenty of marginal news that we're getting. Marginally negative news that are out there, and it's stuff to consider. It's marginally negative, I think, for that longer term thesis. This is why I say it's not that the short thesis is dead. I don't agree that the short thesis is dead. There's still a short thesis.
And there's another thing right there.
They don't successfully reinvent themselves to the
even
degree
though
that
he's
many people
bullish
think that
on the company, even though that he thinks that the short interest currently is outsized, that the short sellers aren't keeping an eye on the long thesis, he's like saying, their position that this company has problems is not dead. There's still plenty of reasons to be bearish about this company, and he's not discounting that possibility in his thesis.
I mean, I've looked at all of his numbers. That I don't understand why it was shorted 100%, other than the gaming industry. Sorry, the top line revenues were collapsing. That's the only reason you could have been bearish on it at that point.
Yeah.
Good. Looking out down the line, but even then, like the short thesis at the current price point, like I think there's a tremendous amount of downside where even if they don't successfully reinvent themselves, I still think that price might even be higher. Let's say they generate as much free cash flow as they do, and then they just pay out a huge dividend.
Rich says GME has been flat for 45 minutes on Robinhood. Robinhood cut off trading. It's going to be flat till 4 a.m. Central.
24. In fact, I'm looking at it on Robinhood, and it says our 24-hour venue, Blue Ocean's ATS, accepts trades range of 20% or below the current price of GME. So the reason that they are shutting off trading is it has reached at or near the 20% cap, and so they have stopped trading on AMC.
The next broker,
likely because of liquidity issues, but also because they want to put a safety cap because it could run up higher or whatever, or it could, collapse once you get
the problem
liquidity into the market.
Here's how I want to explain it, Correct. Imagine on Robinhood it runs up to $40, and then when the big brokers open up, they fucking tank it. Then Robinhood,
because the liquidity opens up and the spreads close.
Right. And Robinhood is on the hook with all of its traders wanting to buy it at 40. But what if they don't have the money to buy it, or something happens and now Robinhood's on the hook for $40, but the price drops back down to 23? They're limiting their corporate risk by putting these trading limits in. So you just got to work
people
with that.
I am sure will come up with their conspiracy theories, but that there is the exact reason.
It's a business management. It's risk management.
Mm-hmm.
They're offering a service, a convenience, but there's going to be rules around that. So
especially since not everyone's offering what Robinhood is offering. If all the other brokers offered 24-hour trading, then there wouldn't be as much risk to Robinhood.
Exactly. As more brokers open up and the liquidity opens up, then you'll see the price start changing.
So 4 o'clock, if you want to stay up for that.
4 o'clock on Webull, and really 7 o'clock Central, which would be 8 Eastern, is when you'll really see what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The end, I think it could be higher than the current price point. When I say this,
I would expect
that there's possibly more upside there as liquidity opens up. People start buying it up. So if you're getting in at 27, maybe there's more upside there that you haven't realized yet, and you got a good price. We'll see.
I think there's a good shot. Like when Webull opens up, you could see it keep running.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be awake. Let's just say that.
I think I will too. I may come down with a case of the cold.
Looking on 5 years and 10 years, it's not totally inconceivable that GameStop will still be kicking ass and thriving, and that it will still be a public company. Blah blah blah. Like there's a case to be made that you can understand why people still have a right to at least be thinking, like I don't know about 5 years, 10 years, maybe it's not going to work out. But like 120% confidence level, come on. That's 120% at the current price point. I think that's silly, and. But there's marginal negative stuff. I don't think it's going to have a short term. I don't think it's a major short term thing. Not that you're saying that, Uberkicks. I know you're not saying that. But like there's plenty of like this stuff that we already know. We already have a good feeling that some of this stuff is trending digital. GameStop knows it. A lot of us know it. And that's just reinforcing what a lot of us already know. You know what I mean? Like I feel as though that type of stuff is already well documented, well known, and that's just further proof of it. But indeed, I don't mean to write it off. I'm glad you brought it up, Uberkicks. But it's reinforcing that case against GameStop. And but that's not to say that GameStop can't successfully reinvent themselves around this type of digital environment, but it would probably be a different type of a business model that I don't even know exactly what it would look like. But we'll have to see. But thanks for sharing. I always like the bears. I like the marginal negative stuff. I like the really negative stuff. That's good. We don't want a confirmation bias. We laugh about that. We don't want too much of an echo chamber. It's good to talk through some of this stuff. Be like, that's a valid point. That's why if you're ready,
we don't want too much of an echo chamber.
Your best to crack down the opposite side of the thesis just to make sure you're not going cuckoo. Although I been thinking I've been going cuckoo this whole time, so I don't know. Jordan, excuse me. Jordan says, I see it as positively since it makes the Xbox more competitive with PS5. Could go either way though, but now Xbox has some serious games that people will want. I want both consoles now. but on software sales, it may be negative due to the past. We're thinking about. Good point. Yeah, I agree, Jordan. Well said. We're thinking about. We're tossing out there. We just toss the news out there. Share it. Let's talk about it. And then see if it sticks. And let's see where it goes. Okay, Isaac Proudford. Cheers, Isaac. Peter Lynn said he made some of the biggest gains off turnaround plays. I'm starting to regard this as my first turnaround play. Welcome out. Cheers, Isaac. So I say
cheers. Holy shoot. I'm trying to be nice to the people who don't like cursing. Holy. What? Am I allowed to say holy? All right, 3 cheers.
That's all you're getting out of me. 3 sips. Done.
When this is gone, guys, all I got left is tequila. You got to tell me if we got to keep going or not.
Fuck. I'm going to die if he keeps saying cheers.
Well, I think it's only one when I'm talking about my investment style, which I've been told those are some dry videos. My apologies, but I wanted you to know like what my investment style is. But I say that some of the biggest gains can be.
I think his best
when
videos,
people,
when
especially when it's a pervasive line of thinking, they think they're like
things.
this company is definitely going bankrupt.
So like he may think they're dry, but I think those are his best videos.
Which ones?
The ones about his investment style, about how he does his how he does his research and everything like that. Like, I understand why he thinks for the general audience, though, those would be pretty dry and uninteresting, but I think those are his best videos.
Everyone always thinks value investing videos are dry and boring because no one wants to make 30 or 40% in a year. They want 700% tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you're a normal investor, a seasoned investor, and you're just looking to beat market returns, you're going to want to find someone you enjoy listening to or hanging out with that focuses on value plays. And really, I'd love my channel just to be about value stocks, but there's so much misinformation and the meme stock stuff that I feel I still owe a duty to people to hang around.
Definitely not going to make it.
I mean, that's the reason why I hang around, is that, there, like you said, there's so much out there that just needs to be combated.
And there's opportunities. Like, this could be a week where, I mean, that 2 weeks ago, I made over 1,100.
An opportunity on both sides. Like, you follow the run up, and then as it fades, you
just have common sense. Common sense trading rules. I sold.
Mm-hmm.
I sold my AMCs, and I sold long calls, and I banked. And that's all you got to do. Understand the fundamental value so you know when to sell. If you don't want to sell at all, have brackets, have long call options as a hedge where you can let it keep running. But I think that understanding fundamental value is critical. And there's just a lot of people that don't understand on any of these plays. I'm talking Mullen, AMC, GameStop. They don't really have a good grasp of what a fundamental value really is. They reject it, and it is what it is.
And then what happens is suddenly it doesn't look that way, and then people it feels like it happens overnight. They're like, holy shit, it's not going bankrupt, number one. And number two, for some reason, maybe they cut costs to survive and blah, blah, blah. Then they start kicking ass, and profits tend to be much higher than people are expecting. And you can get like 5 baggers, 10 baggers in pretty short order with some of these turnarounds. So in general, who's Isaac, right? Isaac, it's a good idea to take a poke around. It's not for everyone. Everyone has their own unique style. You need to figure out what works for you, right? That it is cool, but like, I agree. Well, I forgot Peter Lynch. Those Peter Lynch books, those are classics, right? I haven't read them in a while. I forgot that he was.
Oh my gosh!
A lot of people shy away because they
Peter
go,
Lynch. Look, there's a reason why I start every episode of Prince's Amount Stupid right after the intro music. It's Peter Lynch talking about how there's a reason why stocks go up, and I want people to understand there's a reason why stocks go up. They get it. Like, that quote I use is such a perfect example for me.
What is the quote?
He goes into how, like, I'm mad about how, people do all this research when they go buy a refrigerator or any of these other things. When they go on a travel plan, they do all this research, but when they do stocks, they hear a tip from a guy in a taxi cab, and by the end of the afternoon, they put their entire life savings into it and they get crushed, and then they blame program trading and all this stuff. They bought a shitty stock. And like, that's the entire lesson
even myself,
that me and you and everyone talks about, that these
even myself, having done this for 3 decades now, when something is running and I feel that emotion building, like I need to fucking buy this shit because what if it keeps going? And I will just make a mental check and not do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what happens 10 minutes later? It tanks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like it's built in. And I have learned through many, many years of doing this, when I'm starting to feel that, everybody else is feeling it and they're pushing the trigger. And when everybody buys at the top, that is when they rug pull you.
Yeah.
It is so difficult to time the top and then have it keep running. You need to be really, really good or really, really lucky.
I don't know if you saw the chat because it came in from my end on the paired there, the Fabian about like, what does this call position mean? Like, I think he just has a leverage position because he thinks there's upside and he wants to make a swing trade like that. That's me. I don't read. I can't read Keith Gill's mind, but I think that he thinks there's some sort of swing position, like the Uno reverse card, that he can take advantage of. But I don't know enough about what his thesis is to be able to comment on it. He's been so elusive on it. So
I'm thinking, look, if I just had to break it down to, if I was just a unemotional, detached from GameStop trader looking at what just happened with his tweet and knowing that we saw his Reddit post where he's got all these shares that he's up on and he's got June 20th calls that he's in the red on, and Theta is going to start kicking his ass as we're 3 weeks out. He wants this stuff to run this week. You want it to run this week, Keith, right?
Yeah, because his expiry is the 21st, so he's only got 3 weeks worth of.
The longer this drags out, the more Theta is going to kick his butt,
especially on calls that are less than a month, because Theta is algorithmic.
It's exponential. It's
exponential. Yeah, so it starts like this and then.
Right. So he needs it to run this week, and it very well could. If he's coming back, we're going to get a series of tweets. This could be a fantastic opportunity for some, out of the money call options or longs. But again, I'm going to say, I'm not going to be one of those channels that tells you guys to hold into the run up. If I buy GameStop in the morning and pre-market, I will be selling it into the run up, even if it's a day later or the same day. And I'm not worried about timing the top perfectly. It's just about capturing gains.
And what we're talking about is
momentum.
Exactly why I'm not a big fan of like these weeklies or monthlies. Those are sucker trades. Like if you're going to be in options, I tend to be like a leaps person because it gives you the most opportunity to you to realize your thesis. And it's basically like a leverage play if you want to be long. But like Tony said, he wants a sharp movement and he needs a sharp movement. So
if it trades flat, all this week, he's going to be, instead of being down to 8% on his calls, he's going to be down 40%. So he needs it to run this week,
which makes me wonder if this is just like a swing trade. But that would get him in so much trouble if it was, because
why? Hey, he's not even tweeting about GameStop. I mean, I don't see how he could possibly get in legal trouble.
But we saw Ryan Cohen get in legal trouble for at least her card is full.
A rocket emoji.
So I mean, like, it's hard to tell with these sorts of things. Like, I don't think he'll get in trouble from regulators, but like, man, it's really hard to tell with this sorts of things.
Tony R says, "What are you saying? Do you think he's pumping to close his position? I mean, he's got millions of dollars on the line that are expiring in 3 weeks. What would you do?"
Yeah. He's already down 3%.
He's already down. He's going to be down, instead of 3% or 8%, whatever the Reddit post said, he's going to be down 30 or 40% if it trades flat this week. Then next week, he's going to be down to 80% if it trades flat.
Because we're talking about an exponential decay on Theta.
So, yeah, I think he wants a pump.
those turnaround ones, the ones they never happen, right? Yeah, the company that you think it's going to turn around, and it never happens. But the ones that do, they can go up significantly. And so I same thing with GameStop. There's no guarantee that they do, but I never understood why GameStop traded as cheap.
His strike is $20, Bindi.
As it did. That was what was weird to me, is because usually those turnarounds are like people think it's going to go bankrupt. And yes, I realize people were talking about that, but I'm telling you, the odds of bankruptcy near-term bankruptcy have always been super slim. I never understood that argument. In fact, whenever anyone said that, I always thought almost immediately. I'm not saying I wrote off the analysis, but I was like, this is probably not good analysis. I'm like, they probably missed something if they think bankruptcy is as likely as they think the balance sheet didn't look all that bad, plus the number of levers. Well, different, not but these are the levers. GameStop had so.
Tony R says, what if they close in the money? Then he's gonna. How many did he have? Was it? Refresh my memory, guys. Those of you that have the Reddit post up, was it?
Say he had 1,200 calls.
No, it was way more than that. Maybe I still have.
No, maybe
it was 100,000.
Let me check it. The tweet. Not the tweet, but the Reddit post again. It was 120,000. Sorry, I missed by an order of magnitude. Sorry, 120,000.
So that means he's going to need to pony up. If he wanted to exercise them at $20, he would need $240 million. He's going to fucking sell the calls. He's not going to exercise those. Any normal options trader would just sell the call prior to expiration.
So many levers that they could pull. And so I was always like, I don't know about that. But even so, I didn't think bankruptcy was likely, even though people were talking about, which gave me a little bit of confidence, right? I'm like, whoa, people think this bankruptcy. Is anyone looking at the balance sheet? Is anyone looking at this balance sheet? And then I'm thinking, so this was good because the strong balance sheet gave me some margin of safety, right? Maybe they don't turn themselves around, but I got the downside protected a bit. And so it got as cheap as though it was like going to go bankrupt, trading at like a fraction of cash and a fraction of free cash flow and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, if they succeed, look out. So it did get that cheap.
How much does he have in cash? No idea, but I don't think he has $240 million.
Yeah, I don't think he showed his cash position.
And also, he's a fundamentalist. I mean, he knows what the fundamental value of GameStop is, and it's not.
He just got
not $20.
Margin of safety again.
Mm-hmm. The fundamental value of GameStop is not $20. Maybe the potential value is, but he's not dumb.
Even though I didn't think it was likely, and I'm like, I will take. It's been one of the most compelling asymmetric upside stocks out there.
There's a reason GameStop was selling shares. Let me put it another way. GameStop
you say he's not dumb, but here's a theory that we haven't considered yet, Tony. Do you think he's bought into the cult of personality around him, the cult that he's like this thing? Like, we could be talking about a different Keith Gill. I mean, that's not
if it's him, I think he stands to make tens of millions of dollars in the next week if it runs. And he will sell those calls and take the gains. But I don't think he has $240 million to sit around and exercise and then hold GameStop at $20. Look, let me reiterate what I just said. GameStop sold shares last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Because why? Because they knew it was higher than the fundamental value. And that was the smart thing to do. And he knows that too. Keith knows that too. He's not going to. Well, I mean, he did it in 2021. He exercised above the fundamental value. Who the hell am I to comment? But
and that's why I only bring it up is like, do you like? I don't know. I'm not going to say that.
He's had 3 years to sit back and calm down, Corex. Mm-hmm. He's had 3 years to collect his thoughts and like unplug from the mania.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Chris says if he sells the calls, does it mean the price will tank? It depends on where the stock is trading at that moment. But the higher the stock price goes, once it goes in the money at $20, the market makers there are probably already hedged. It's trading over 20 right now, right? Market makers are fully hedged.
Robinhood is showing it at 27, but I mean, we don't know what's going to open.
But what did it close on Friday at? $23?
I know it was over 20.
So, I mean, for a June 20th strike, I don't know what the delta is, but
so he definitely bought see, now that's the thing is he bought them in the money. So that was a good decision.
Let me check.
It closed at 22.93 in after hours.
the calls. I can't even get.
End of trading was 23.14 as far as the market was concerned.
Hang on one second, guys. $20. Delta is 70. So the market maker, theoretically is 70% hedged. So yeah, I mean, even the price bumping up in after hours tonight in the,
and you have
in the morning
to figure
could induce the market maker to need to buy shares on Monday morning to fully hedge their position, which could make the price go up even more.
For the other ones outstanding, because with his case, he bought in the money calls, so those were probably already hedged immediately.
No, because it's June 21st is the expiration, so they're not going to fully hedge, even though they're in the money, because there's still 3 weeks of
downside.
time.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
If it was this week, the delta would probably be closer to 90. Let me just check. This week's $20 calls delta is 77. I would have expected it to be higher.
Because IV's a double-edged sword, because it could go back down.
At any rate, when he sells, could it make the price go down? Theoretically, but it depends a lot on when he does it and what's happening with momentum at that time.
And we'll never really know unless he discloses when he sells.
I've had a hard time. There's been others. March and April, you saw a ton out there, which is part of the reason I felt that kind of delayed the interest in GameStop, because I'm like, people were like, who cares? I'll just get involved later. There's other opportunities. So I think that at least partially contributed to that continuing.
That's
to lag.
a key thing to bring up is like, I see that in my positions a lot, where, I mean, you may think it's a fair value, but some people like with me and you and on AMC, where it's like you see the long-term potential of it on a theoretical basis. And I'm like, you know what? I want to wait and see until 2026 when I can confirm that there's a turnaround and things like that. And he's admitting that there's people like you are with AMC and he is with GameStop at this time. And then there's people like me who's like, I'm not bearish to the point where I, long-term do a longer short on it, but I'm not at the point yet where I would buy in. So I want to wait and see a little longer, get a little more facts before my fair value analysis as a value investor would click.
Yep. I get that. Cause like, even though I like AMC and I like movies, obviously, I still recognize that their success or failure is highly dependent on the box office, which is not in their control.
Yep.
And I don't know. I can't.
And he admits that with GameStop, and that's
I can't tell you what the box office for sure is going to be in 2025 or 2026. What I can tell you for sure is if it's not good, AMC is going to suck. But if it is good, you're going to be happy that you bought in cheap. It's just what's your risk tolerance? Size your risk accordingly. That's all I can say on AMC. It's anybody's guess at this point, and it's not really even in AMC's hands.
I think partially. I don't know. But yeah, so good. Thanks for sharing, Isaac. Oh, glad you're reading Peter Lynn. Yeah, there's some good books out there. I definitely recommend. Oh, someone asked me.
Oh man, he's recommending books. Watch out.
I need to share some books that I would recommend and stuff.
Oh, here we go. Let me get.
I wonder. Let's
get
see
my Amazon open so I can start.
I bet both you and I already have every book he's talking about here.
Out real quick, won't we?
Cohen has the potential. It might take 2 years to take this company back to its $6.5 billion market cap, placing the S&P to $100. Oh, excuse me, placing the S&P stock price, placing the stock price to $100. Totally possible, and I'm willing to hold that long, unless we see a crazy squeeze. So that's what that market cap was back here, right? Oh, see if I can do this first time.
Maybe that's what we'll do at the end of the stream. We'll give.
And remember the share
recommendations.
I have had people ask me that many times, and I've got a stack of them behind me that I'm currently reading, and another many shelves full of them that I've accumulated over the years. One day I'll make a book list.
It's been whacked since back in the day. I mean, they're down to 65. It used to be like 130 or something like that. And they haven't all been good buybacks, right? The buybacks that they used to do back in the day, someone was just saying this on Seeking Alpha, I forget. It's like the buybacks back then, they were like, you shouldn't have been doing it. But sometimes when you have a suspect management who's not always making the right capital allocation decisions, that happens. It is what it is at this point. Now it's like, just do the right shit. I think people anchor I think you could tell in a lot of people's articles too, especially the bearish ones. People are anchoring to historical performance of the historical stock price, historical operational and capital allocation, like operational decisions.
Like people talk about price anchoring and they think about it in the wrong way with a lot of these conspiracy people. But he's getting back to that whole thing of the sentiment around the stock and how narratives control the stock. So people are anchoring based on what their perceived value is, or what perceived value based on whatever research they've done previously. And you have to have something that happens that changes where they push that fundamental value of the company to.
Capital allocation decisions, they were anchoring to previous management, and I always thought, is no one looking? Is no one looking? I feel like no one's looking underneath to go see what's happening here. Anyway, so the market cap was, what was it, 6.5? That sounds right to me. I think it was right around 6.5. I know, Steve, you're generally good with your figures here, so I'm going to trust you. That sounds right. I think it was around 8-9 billion in revenues, but the market cap was closer to 6.5 billion. So that's the 100. So thank you for putting that in perspective, though, because people always talk about the stock price. It's important to remember the market cap. So GameStop market cap 570, right? Oh, it's up at 9%, huh? Sick. Is this the Roaring Kitty stream? Let's do it. We turn it on. Stock price. Noise, right? Shits and giggles. We're only looking at this for shits and giggles. So it's important to remember that even this stock price.
It's hard to imagine a 570 million market cap now.
Stock price. You look at that market cap and relative to
where
where
it
it used to be.
7 billion, and we're going to be probably at 8-9 billion tomorrow.
Saying, hey, heads up, the stock price has been there before. Excuse me, the market cap has been there before, and now they got way fewer shares. That if they do reinvent themselves, and suppose they reinvent themselves, right? Suppose they reinvent themselves, and it's a higher margin business. Suppose maybe it's a smaller business, right? Maybe they're not getting back to 9 billion. They don't get back to 9 billion. And right now they're what, 5.5 billion or something like that. And I expect growth next year. There's some people who don't think they're going to grow next year. I think that would be something if they don't have positive year-over-year comps. But this is what I mean. I see some bearish articles. I'm like, what? I'm like, I just think like people want it to not happen. I'm just like, it's not likely it's going to happen. But anyway, let's say they bounce back, they get some growth next year. But let's say the run rate moving forward is like $5-6 billion, right? Or maybe even $4 billion. Maybe it's even smaller. The point is, it's a percentage of whatever the gaming industry. If it's a $150 billion industry right now, it's heading to $200 billion a couple years out. If GameStop can reinvent themselves to just get a percentage of that, right? Just a small share, whatever it is. And we know brick and mortar's not dead. Brick and mortar is dead. It's like Best Buy is like a $27 billion market cap. I keep bringing that up, right? But there's a place. There's a place in the retail environment.
I think also should be mentioned is like this whole narrative that I think is wrong, that brick and mortar is dead. And it really depends on what it is that this this retail company is offering. Brick and mortar is dead. Like Walmart, Costco, all your grocery stores are doing fine. Brick and mortar is dead. Best Buy, like you said, is doing fine. Brick and mortar, what sort of brick and mortar? And you have to look at GameStop, and you're looking at the physical media part of it. So if they transitioned to something that had less physical media and relied more on like hardware or other gaming items, or sold pre-built PCs, or sold all the, like, he's talking about the potential. And brick and mortar, as I've said before, their advantage is, it's a little bit more expensive, but you can get it now. Whereas Amazon's it's cheaper, but you have to wait a bit. So brick and mortar, I don't think is ever going to be dead, because there's always going to be people who are like, I want it now. So that's always.
But to be fair, a lot of the brick and mortar that are successful, the ones you just mentioned, they're very low margin businesses.
And very much so. And they're very diverse.
They're relying on volume,
and they're diversified. Like you talk about a Best Buy, they don't just sell like gaming stuff. They sell computer stuff. They sell cell phones. They sell your TVs, your washing machines, even, so.
And I don't want to order a washing machine off of Amazon. I want to go,
right.
I want to go see them in person.
Mortar, right? And
Tubby Tubby says, if the stock runs, selling puts would be great. Yeah.
You just got to be careful about the IV and if you're getting it at the right price.
Not if you're selling them.
Well, I mean, like if you get a sharp run, like depending on what strike, if you get like what happened last time, where you had that sharp run on Monday and then by the end of the week. So like if you sell it and it runs and it takes away most of that.
If you're selling a
premium,
if you're selling a $23 strike and IV's increasing, you're going to make a fuck ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you sell over 23 by Friday, you're going to keep all of that. Even when it was trading flat last week. We had people in the Discord making thousands of dollars last
Mhm.
week, thousands in a week.
I guess
selling
you got to look at the
puts.
time frame too. So if you're selling weeklies, definitely. But if you're selling longer term
No,
options, you probably don't want to do
we
that.
mostly only do weeklies, and it's been a very profitable trading strategy. So yeah, that's something to look into for next week. Again, if you're not used to trading options, do not fucking do it.
Yeah.
Do not freaking do it. You will lose money.
Learn first.
Learn first. Do it on paper.
And,
I'm not pushing options. I'm just talking to our options traders, the experienced ones. That it was a major play for us last week.
the question is, can GameStop put itself in that position such that it can grow alongside the gaming industry? Maybe if it's a smaller fraction of it, right? But if they can grow and they can just get 1% or 2% of the industry, and they grow alongside with incrementally. But what if that smaller business is also higher margin stuff? Like they got partnerships with vendors, or whatever it is. You know, in-store experiences. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it's like a distinct possibility. And if that happens, and it gets repriced as a growth type stock, and maybe it's a smaller business, but if it's a higher margin business, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm not smart enough to think through this stuff. There's a lot of good articles out there. What was that one from Scott Preston? Scott Preston had an excellent article. Do I have it? Where is it? I think I got it saved. Where is it? GameStop.
Wherever he's at,
Corex,
we're gonna wrap up.
He did a great job thinking through all this stuff, right? Check out this article. And I included this it's in one of my GameStop videos, but he did a great. Oh, I don't have it on there. Google. There's the article if you could track it down. But I included it in. It's in one of my videos, one of my GameStop videos.
No,
he did a great job penciling through all
remaining.
Oh, there'll be plenty. Don't worry.
Oh shit!
All the different possible outcomes for this stuff. It's just terrific article. Like I said in my video,
I'm really hoping for one right now because
I feel like I'm just not smart enough to think through this stuff. But I can think through some of the possibilities, right? The possible outcomes. And even if it's, and as Scott says in his article, even if you just assign, even if it's not the likely outcome, it's just all these different possible outcomes. Even if you assign a low probability to it, like Steve's saying, you can get to that 6.5 billion. Then you get to 100. Then you're dealing with the 20 bagger. You know what I mean?
I know that we got a really popular stream going when the bots show up in the chat to pimp stuff.
Oh, I'm not seeing them on my side.
It's from my side. I took care of that problem.
Block them.
Chances this happens are a 10% chance, really slim, and the odds are against it. But if it happens, look out. So but Steve, thank you for putting that in perspective. I think people get hung up on the price.
In fact,
because of all those shares they bought back.
So that way, it's subscribers only. So if you're going to try and pimp your shit on my channel, you're going to give me a sub first.
I always do subscribers only. Yep.
That market cap could go quite a bit higher. And yeah, what's the Chewy market cap, by the way? I don't think this is a reasonable comparison. It's like 21 billion for this one. And what is it, 27 billion? Just nuts.
I also do a time delay. I don't know if you do that on yours.
I think that's a great. I see
put a knee high
27 billion. Then I look at GameStop. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What's going on? That's what I mean. Like people are like, oh, it did this store. Tell me, explain to me, if anyone knows, someone smarter than me, why Best Buy's business model is 27 divided by, let's call it 0.6, 45 times
PE ratio of Best Buy is $17 in his chart.
Maybe you think Best Buy is over
17,
overpriced, no problem.
$17.
But I can't understand.
Pretty okay.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. But people will be saying, why is Best Buy trading at 105 and GameStop was only trading at 9? Well, you have to look at PE ratios to do a comparison.
Something's off.
And share, like you look at the price and don't consider in the shares to create the market cap, you're not really looking at the company.
That's why PE ratio equalizes all that, because it's price to earnings, and earnings is per share.
It could be Best Buy's overvalued, could be GameStop's undervalued, blah, blah, blah. But the people are like, hey, there's nothing here in gaming. And I get the physical discs. I get that that's right there. That's their primary product, right? There's definitely some explanation for it. I'm not saying it's...
Tony R says, are you going live for pre-market in the morning? I just might.
You know what would be fun? How often do you listen to the radio? Because I've always played with this idea, if I had more time and didn't have a full-time job, of doing like a morning radio show where it's like live and they're all amped and they've got the news of the day and they're joking and it's just having fun. I think like there's a market for that in the stock market where it's not just you're talking stocks, but you're having fun. You're joking.
They have something like that called Ape Radio on Twitter. They do. My friend, the one, I call him my friend. He's kind of mad at me right now. He's not really my friend. I know his name on Twitter, but he's not. He's mad at me because they're really into this narrative right now that Ape shares never got delivered when the reverse split conversion happened. And I question him on that, and so he's mad at me. You know, I'm not allowed to have a different opinion, apparently.
It's completely ridiculous,
Yeah,
but
those
the
people are
level of
messed. It's
difference is
hard.
what's crazy to me. Just like the level of.
But he's a great guy, and it's a fun show, and I'm sure at some point he'll forgive me for having a different opinion.
Short interest is what's crazy to me. It just seems a little bit unreasonable to me. And so with Ryan Cohen involved too, who many other people classify him as the visionary. Just check out those. Just look at this. Let's see what other people are saying, huh? And I think he kind of understands these types of businesses. If you remember, if you see, check out, if you haven't yet, you got to watch these videos. Homework assignment, educational channel, homework assignment. You got to watch these videos because if you replace what was it, pets with gaming or whatever it was I said in my tweet, it's the same thing. It's the same game plan. And so he gets it for this new age, for this new type of retail space. Dude gets it. And so I think his involvement increases the chances of a turnaround that we could. Like I said, his involvement has substantiated that the likelihood of that upside. You know what I mean? Like before, I can think through the possibilities, but I had to assign a low probable outcome to it because I'm like, I just don't know. It's possible. It's completely possible.
Kevin is asking, will you guys theoretically take a position if you can say, if it's running in the morning? Absolutely. I love momentum.
If I can find a good entry, I just might. But like I've been really bad. The reason why I've been short more often on GameStop is I just am not up early enough to get on the run up. And so it's much easier to wait, confirm that the run up is done, and then just write it down because I'm not a morning person.
Yeah. I'm always up in the morning in pre-market, and we know we don't have halts to worry about in pre-market. Where I would be more nervous is getting in once the market opens, and then you got that up halt, up halt. And then you know what always happens. I'm going to get in because it could keep going. And right when you get in, that's where you get the halt and it starts trading again, and you get that huge red candle down. That's always my luck. So when they're running, if I already missed it, I tend not, I'll just let it go because there'll always be another one. There's plenty of them out there. Don't ever get in this, like I missed this one and I'll never win again. Every week there's something. But if I'm up early in pre-market and I can get in at a reasonable price, I think it's worth the gamble. But I'm telling you right now, I'm just going to say it's going to be a gamble because you never know what happens at 8 a.m. Central. You never know what happens at 9:30 a.m. Central when the pre-market starts at the big boys and then the bell rings. It could turn the other way. But if we look back at what happened 2 weeks ago, you got to roll the dice. What's your probability analysis that it keeps running versus it gets rug pulled? That's your choice. Don't listen to me. I'm a bit of a gambler. My style might not be for everybody, but I only gamble with money that I'm telling you, money that I'm willing to lose. If I buy on Monday morning at 4 a.m. and I lost it all by 7 a.m., I would not care and I would not blame anybody. Manage your risk.
And I do think the market wasn't even pricing in any potential turnaround. So that's why that was a discount. But I'm like, is it a 5% chance? Is it a 25% chance? And that matters. It's still unlikely. But if it's a 5% chance versus 25% chance, just forget about it because it's 5 times more likely and then it could go up significantly higher. I'm rambling now. I'm trying to stay on top. Let me keep going. Uber Kick said, Jordan, I agree. I'll likely buy both with my GME profits. It does improve the value prop of Game Pass. You're talking about whether it was marginally better. That's really only Microsoft. That's Uber Gung Ho on the Super Gaming versus public. Okay. Steven, Uber Kicks, I think that is the potential risk. If the online Sony and Microsoft stores are seen as the essential way for everyone to buy games, could delay sentiment shifting towards G.
The good thing right now, Corex, is 100% of my GameStop and my AMC position is all in cash.
Yeah.
The money I have set aside for trading those two stocks, I sold everything in that run up of 2 weeks ago, and I've been waiting for them both to come down. So if it's running, I have everything that I am willing to allocate
to take advantage of it.
Yeah, everything I'm willing to allocate to GameStop or AMC or both is 100% available.
Well, that was the good reason for me to I'm glad if I do end up being early enough to catch this, that I closed all my positions early last week because I've got plenty of liquidity setting aside. That's just cash, not margin, cash to go out and risk it for a biscuit.
Yeah, I'm not having to worry about, my cost basis is $100. Whatever I get in at, that's my cost basis. So as long as it goes up, I'll be good. Whether it's $1 or $50.
And I don't want to make it sound like I think for both of us that if we did, that'd be a very small portion of our portfolio, and we'd be in and out, and it'd be done. It's not like
I'm not going to be getting in. I'm not going to be getting in it thinking it's going to $1,000. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to be looking to get in and get out.
GME could. Okay, so now we're talking about some short term. Now we're talking about sentiment, right? We're talking about how this long term could be a marginal negative. So Steven's saying it could be even a sentiment shift. I don't know. I think part of the thing about what I think with sentiment, this is speculation here. Feel free to disagree. Is that the momentum of, we talk about the momentum of a stock price, which of course may be a reflection of the momentum of sentiment. But once that sentiment, it's like a rolling stone, right? It can be hard to stop. But even still, if it does get going, if this stock price does get going, if this story gets going, people get really bullish on GameStop, it's really hard to stop it from happening. That's why if you're short, you're a little bit nervous, because once you lose that bearish argument, once you lose the chart, once you start losing everything, it gets really difficult to contain it. Then it gets out of, and then it's just out. So that's why it was really important that it broke out of that box. It really broke out of this.
This is a good point
that box
to make, and I want to kind of clarify the short position I had, because my whole theory on being short AMC and GameStop was the whole people buying weeklies thing, and I was basically doing it that theta would attack the hedging structure like you were talking about. So you would have these huge run-ups on Monday, and then by about say Tuesday or Wednesday, theta starts attacking these weekly options, and the hedging that's needed for these options starts waning. And then I'd get into a position, and by the end of the week I'd be out. And so he's talking about, how the sort of the opposite thing, as like naturally the narrative starts to change over time, then you start to wonder as a short seller. And it's sort of like the risk that you have to understand it, like, that I'm trying to communicate now, that like you have to be constantly aware of your position when infinite risk is on the table.
If
you were short, you mean?
Yeah.
Just like a flat line trend kind of, and then got out of it, and it's like you kind of it got out of the box. You let it out of the box, whoa, and then you could just run. You know what I mean? So, but your point still stands, Steven. Steven's saying this could, if people start viewing
in narrative parlance, we call this foreshadowing.
That's how they'll purchase some games that could delay sentiment shifting. But I'm not sure it would delay it, but it could just hamper maybe down the line. But I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Could delay. We'll see. I haven't seen too many people talking about. Have there been lots of articles about this saying that it's maybe bearish for physical discs or something? I didn't permit links. Damn. My apologies. I'll have to look. I'll Google around to see if there were some articles. I may have missed them. Legit, I may have missed them. So I'll keep an eye out to see if people are talking more about that. Hugo. People talking. Okay, I'll get back to that. I think I'm getting close. We
got 13 minutes left. How about a cheers?
Take a look at BYDDF within all the EV maker. That's the only company. So we'll get to this. I'm going to get through the chat first. But some people have been sending me tickers, which I appreciate people sending me tickers. But some of the tickers are not my style, which some people you might not know. But if you check out the stream or if you check out this.
What was the ticker? DDF? EV company? That doesn't even sound familiar.
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar to me, but he's like,
see, right now we've been all focused on GameStop.
I've got a thesis. I've got how I invest, and it's great that you guys are sending me tickers, but if it doesn't fit my thesis, not interested.
EV startups is a very dangerous game. I'm just going to say.
It is. Just ask Mullen investors.
Well, ask Lucid or Rivian. I mean, they're having to.
Yeah. Rivian is a company that's actually producing vehicles, and they're still getting pounded. Like even the car industry in general. Like, let's not even talk about EVs. A startup car company. How long has it been since we've had a startup car company that succeeded?
It's
like
just
in the time between
it's so capital intensive in the startup years.
Exactly. And even if you get a successful company, the margins are real thin because, like you said, it's so capital intensive.
I don't blame people if you don't know what my style is, but I've been jotting them down as you tell me. But I can explain why some of these aren't my style, and where I might not even have an opinion on them. Like I may take a peek just to see, but I'm like, and then if it's not my style. That's a deterrent for me to dig in deeper. Like I only have limited time, right? So if I take a quick glimpse, I'm like, that's not my style. I have to move on. That said,
if the chart looks like this, it's not my style.
But there's certain stocks, there's certain types. Maybe because I failed in the past.
If the fundamentals don't jive, it's not my style.
That's why it's not just. I'm tracking over 3,000 stocks. I mean, I got
What?
thousands of stocks.
3,000? Good Lord, man. I'm good.
Well,
trying to
I mean,
track
that's
30.
kind of how I do it. I don't know about tracking 3,000 stocks, but like that's how my investment style is. Like I've told people on my YouTube channel, I've told people in my Discord, that's like I will go out on a weekend and I'll get a package of like 50 stocks that I think are interesting, and I'll go through the fundamentals. I'll look at the company, and usually I'll get like maybe 5, maybe 2 even, or sometimes 1. So you kind of gotta have to,
I guess
like,
there's a
cast
difference
wide
between,
net.
maybe a
But at the end
difference
of the-
between tracking and digging into.
Yeah.
Like if
And that's
I,
what the whole purpose of a screener is like you're looking at all these things and you're looking at the metrics and you're looking at it and you're going, these are not meeting my standards, but this one is. And out of these 100 stocks that I've got on my screener, this one, let's do a deep dive on it because it meets my basic standards.
yeah.
And I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, because if I decide that I'm going to go in a stock for a long-term trade, like he's looking at GameStop, that's a 8-hour commitment of me reading through
Exactly.
financials and stuff. I'm not just buying it because the chart looks pretty. You know what I mean?
And then think about
they've got pretty cars.
Yeah.
They've got
And
pretty
think about
cars.
it from Roaring Kitty's perspective, or like my perspective. It's like I got a full-time job. So like the screener is there for me to weed out bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't have 8 hours to dedicate all my life to like hundreds of tickers.
Yep.
So it's good to have a good screener because it screens out fucking nonsense.
Yep.
But
I should do a video on that one day. Like what
Mhm.
screening criteria should you set up for trying to identify potential value plays? That's a good topic.
But when I'm really trying to dig in deep, I have to draw the line at some point and be like, that's just too far out where I'll spend a couple minutes on it and just see. But you can still send them. I've been taking notes when people tweet them to me or message them to me. I haven't got around to everything. I apologize if I haven't responded to everything. But I keep on saying, I thought it was going to happen tonight. Oh, this is funny. So I took down all these tickers, right? And I was looking at a couple of them. And I'm like, all right, no news on GameStop. No news on GameStop. We'll talk some GameStop tonight. But let's spend tonight looking up some of these tickers. And then after hours, boom! I'm like, all right, here we go, GameStop stream.
Because that's the thing that people forget is that.
So, but I have looked at some
all these different stocks that he had besides GameStop.
GameStop was 5% of his portfolio. 5%.
And a lot of the tickers that he talks about that weren't GameStop, they performed fairly well. Like I wouldn't scoff at like 20% gains. Like he had a pretty tight ship.
Yeah.
But we'll still have time. We'll still have time, I think. Okay. Roaring Kitty, need to correct you on the pronunciation. It's Porsche. Oh, thank you, Uber Kicks. Thank you. So, thank you. So it could be. I don't know. So on my videos, I'll joke the life of an individual investor. So Uber Kicks is saying it's supposed to be pronounced Porsche, which that sounds right to me, right? Also, is it another one? Notre Dame. I feel like that's always one I still don't know. All these years I've been saying it, but Porsche.
Depends if you're saying American or French, American or
But as an
German.
individual investor, and maybe some of you can sympathize. Like you'll see a company name, or you'll see an analyst, or all these things. I don't even know how to pronounce it because sometimes I'll tune into, occasionally I'll put on CNBC or something, but I don't watch it that frequently, so there's a lot of company names in the portfolio. There's a company in the portfolio, Trinseo. I don't even know is it Trinseo? Trinseo? It's like one of the top positions. I don't even know how to pronounce the name. I have no idea.
GameStop is properly pronounced Gameshire Shopaway.
Yeah. Where is it? Yeah, right there. Trinseo? I don't know. Is it? What? There's a couple of them. Maybe that's it. But believe me, take my word. I don't know how to pronounce shit. I have no idea. And then I'm always like, is this how you say it? Or it's not even just stocks. If you read something in a book too, an investing book, and not any book, not just investing book, but even a word you don't know, you're like, yeah, I don't really know that word. And then you like attempt to use it in real life.
Like, look at this. This is beautiful. This is like I don't have that much going on in my Excel screener, but like look at all these names.
This is his portfolio. This is the actual portfolio. So because of the run up in price on GameStop, it's now 21% of his portfolio. But I remember seeing it in July of 2020. It was like just over 5%.
People are like, actually, that's not how you say it. You're like, oh, I'm an idiot. But that's how you learn. You know what I mean? You got to go for it. You're like, maybe I can apply that word here, right? And people are like, no. This way, it's sometimes easier to type the stuff than actually say it. You play it safe when you're talking. You know what I mean? That's funny. Okay. Jordan, GME looks like the way
These are
silver played out in
names I've
July, went from
never
17
heard
to
of
18 to
before.
36
Yeah, me
fast
too.
after years of nothing. GME looks like a
He's going after very niche
drawing
stuff.
hockey stick lines for fun.
Well, I
A
mean,
lot of
that's-
oil,
commodities
a lot of
basically
oil
hit
and
today, right?
gas.
Well, to be fair,
there's a-
post-COVID, that was the play. Because, like, I remember talking with Bronco about how he's one of these big oil investors. He a lot of his portfolio is about researching and being in these royalty trusts where they're basically like oil REITs. They own wells and they pay you a dividend based on the oil that they sell off.
Right.
And he was talking about, he lives in Texas like you do. And he was talking about going out to one of the oil fields for one of these companies he owns and just all the wells during COVID being shut down and how crazy it was. So like at this time period, being in oil was a huge value play because just imagine they shut down all these wells and you buy in at the bottom and then COVID reopening happens and suddenly there's this huge demand for oil. That's a crazy play.
Yeah, I
crazy good.
I have some friends that are, what's the right word? They're in a family business of a well-known worldwide brand. I don't want to say who it is. Maybe if you're in my Discord, you already know. Don't say in the chat. But it's a worldwide brand, and besides that, they own a bunch of oil wells. And I remember having a lot of conversations with them about the oil business, and they were getting rid of a lot of their oil wells just because they're like, Tony, we can't even produce profitably right now. It's costing us money to pump oil out of the ground.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that point, as an investor, that's probably the time you want to be in, and then just be patient, right?
Yeah,
like your friend
exactly.
Bronco
100%.
said. But as an owner of the well, not too good.
Yeah, no shit.
Big move, huh? I did see it was down. I didn't pull up the chart for
And
it.
he was also in a lot of just not oil, but like coal, energy in general was a big part of his portfolio.
It was looking real frothy. It was looking
company is
real frothy. It was even overbought on the weekly. By the way, heads up, GME's not overbought crazy on the weekly yet. Look at this. It's like that's what I mean. People saying that it's real pure speculation, it's going crazy and stuff. Like this is people saying it's still early, right? But like, I think like stuff like this supports this case. It's still not even crazy. It's not. I keep on thinking we're gonna like wake up to it's gonna be like a huge pop on the like. There's gonna be some.
I'm just gonna say for those that are putting price targets in the chat. What's the short interest reported right now? Like 23%.
Let me go take a look at that and double check my work here.
I mean, if I was going to throw out a price target for you, which I'm not going to, it would be based on the reported short interest. So 1,000 to 3,000 sounds ridiculously high to me.
Yeah. I just looked at Fidelity right now. Oh, gotta minimize it.
If it does hit
short interest is at 25.5.
If it hits 1,000 to 3,000, then there are definitely billions of fake shares we don't know about. But
let me check also something else that I like.
We had a 600, 700% run up 2 weeks ago. That's pretty damn good for 20 to 25% short interest. And I think that's very reasonable gains. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, don't be afraid to have some brackets because you don't want to ride it all the way up and back down.
So you're looking at 25.5 as far as short interest. Borrow fee closed at about 14%.
Okay.
Today, that's what it's saying but that, I mean, we don't have an open trading. So, but that's on IBKR and that's only one broker. So, I mean.
All right. I mean, I'd love to see it run up for those of y'all that want it to go that high, and that would be for me.
I mean, I could see it going back up to 60 where it did the last squeeze. That's not too unprobable.
I'm just saying if it ran into the 4 digits, that would, to me,
I have a very hard time believing that.
No, I don't think that it will, but if it did, that would be evidence to me finally that there were a bunch of unreported shorts. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or rehypothecation. But guys, on my channel, I only go.
Gets back to 100.
I only go by the reported short interest, and that price target seems way too high. What you're putting in the chat there for what we know about for the short interest. And keep in mind, they will fucking shut this thing off too.
Like liquidity
they'll
dries
just
up.
they'll yank the buy button.
It hasn't happened yet, but doesn't it kind of feel like that could happen with the stock like this? I don't know. But
I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm just saying that so you have some reasonable exits along the way.
Still not crazy over on the weekend, but anyway, to silver. Silver's was super frothy, and gold too, right? Well, gold, dude, I see it got rocked too. Hey, not as much. It's kind of holding up, but it looks kind of short term, looks kind of bearish. But a spurious relation there. But I appreciate Jordan's just saying, hey, you can have a quick parabolic move after a long time, and that's totally true. And what happens, Jordan? What happens is people get complacent. People, especially let's say if you've been short or if you haven't gone long. It goes on for so long, and I do believe this has happened with GameStop. It goes on so long, people just say that's
what the price is. They don't change their thesis based on the changing facts. That is a very good point. That is a great point. That's why I consistently do research like I do over the weekends, because like you got to be constantly on top of your own narratives for your own stocks, whether it's long or short, and you can't get stuck in a rut. And that's when you get fucked.
Lauren says you're delusional. The past few weeks have made it obvious how many fake shares there are. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Well, he's got that laughing face, so I think he's.
I think he's serious. But Lauren, I'm just going to say, like, I sold Bed Bath and Beyond at the top the day before Ryan Cohen got out. I told the MMTLP. I told them, around $10-12 was a good time to get out. I watch every meme stock in the last 3 years, and get the only one since 2021 that went beyond where I thought it was GameStop, but I wasn't paying as close a daily attention. That was what got me into paying this much attention. And obviously, if I would have known GameStop had 140% short interest in 2021, I might have thought about it differently. I wasn't paying that close of attention, but I pay daily attention to every ticker you guys can imagine that the retail community has been involved in, and none of them ever run to the ridiculous price targets people think.
Exactly.
And I've been able to call the top on almost all of them perfectly. Doesn't mean I was trading them. I traded some of them. But I also sold AMC in June of 2021. The call options I had as it was running to 70. How happy do you think I was that I did that? I don't know what to tell you. You do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you how to trade. I just don't want to see people ride another run up after you've been waiting 3 years and not take anything off the table. If you're worried that it's going to go to 1,000, just have some brackets. What our good friend Lou used to say. So if it stops at 70 and comes back down, maybe 50 was one of your first brackets. At least you got something.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know where it will top out.
I just want to briefly handle Debbie there. It's like how, I don't think either AMC or GME is going to go to OTC. OTC is like the death zone of penny stocks so I don't
Why would GameStop go to OTC?
Yeah, I don't see that happening at all.
Impossible.
No.
Impossible.
Persist for the future. Like people forget. It sounds crazy. It sounds ridiculous. I know.
I need one more cheers from this guy so we can call it a night.
Nope.
You said the thumbnail for this video. I said, have the shorts fall asleep? Like, did they? Did the shorts fall asleep? That they not watching what's unfolding and you're not paying attention?
Clear
to
out our glasses.
They kind of just think this base case, what's happened for the past 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, is going to persist moving forward. And what happens is, and then they realize it has changed.
I'm going to give them about.
They try to correct it very quickly. That's why you always see volatile moves. We talked about this on the stream. You tend to see a lot of volatility at these inflection points where people are like, wait a second, what? Going all over the place. And because people are trying to update their models, and what happens is it can happen quickly. So Jordan's pointing out how it happened with silver. It could happen with GameStop. I totally agree. I still don't even think it's kind of gotten started. When was it? Last Wednesday? Was it last Wednesday? We said if anything happens, that was probably the start of it. But still, it just seems like it could be some bigger moves ahead, if at all. If it's not saying it's definitely going to happen, it just feels like a stock like this. I don't think it doesn't feel like anyone's had their face ripped off. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like anyone's, and it's That's like another weird way to put it, but usually there's pain.
Again,
usually there's
foreshadowing.
Like, I'm not
It's the
wouldn't
narrative
wish that on anyone like that. But usually it's like if you try to put yourself on the other side, it's like there's been pain on the long
We
side.
haven't had anyone have their face ripped off yet.
Talk about pain. This is painful. But if you're looking at the chart, you wouldn't remain long. You know what I mean? So this is who I think Barry said this too, and I totally agree with this because it's true with me. If you're a fundamental investor and you don't lead on charts too much, but the charts can help keep you out of trouble, they have totally kept me out of trouble.
That's exactly how I think about charting things.
Part of the reason I didn't get involved with GameStop. I also thought it was overvalued for quite a while there.
I use it to
I was
find
invested
good
back in the
entry
day,
points,
as many
but
folks
I don't
were.
rely on them on a day-to-day basis.
You don't rely on the charts?
On a day-to-day basis, no. If I've got a fundamental analysis, I've got a rough price point, I got a rough place where I want to go, but I use them to find a good entry point. Like say this, like I'll look at my moving averages and things like that, and I'll try and find a good point to get in and out, get in at. But I don't really use it like him. I don't rely a whole lot on charts. I kind of rough it in based on some very basic metrics.
We're going to wrap this up with some comments from y'all. Joey says Robinhood issues overnight trading. Robinhood's already stopped trading because it hit their 20% threshold. Yep. So it'll be flat, I would expect, until Webull opens up in the morning. And then you'll see trading start up again as liquidity gets added. And then you'll really see what happens at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, when the big boys open up. Mike says that open up for pre-market. Mike says Roaring Kitty has millions in options for June 21st. Yeah, we pulled up his Reddit post and we saw that. And so I think that is very bullish, and I think it's going to potentially add a lot of excitement into this week's trading, which is why I'm going to be up early. And I'm all in cash right now for my meme stocks, AMC and GameStop. I sold everything in that last run up. I've been waiting for a pullback or another run. And this is a moment I've been waiting for. This is a perfect opportunity for me. So if I get a chance to get in the morning and ride it up, that's beautiful. And I hope it runs. And I will have brackets that I sell, just like I'm not telling you guys anything what to do. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. No one can ever time the top perfectly, but I would just say I don't ever like to say I'm only selling at 1,000, because what if it doesn't hit 1,000? What if it goes to 70 and then drops? And then
that's how a lot of people have gotten hurt, where they just fall all the way back down and they lose everything.
But if I sell some at 50, 70, 100, 200, then I'm happy all the way. As long as you're selling in the green. I don't want to live with regret the next day that I missed it because I was greedy. So I'll have a plan, and you have your plan, and we can all meet up and have a beer after. As long as I make money, I'll be happy. And if you make money, I'll be happy for you. If you didn't make money, if you sat out last week and you sit out this time, then I'll be sad for you. But you make your own choices. I'm not in charge of you. You know your risk tolerance, and far be it for me to tell you what to do. We're just having a discussion. What else? Oh, the other thing that I was thinking about, his options, June 21st, we were talking about this earlier. Theta is going to start kicking in for those options after the end of this coming week, and his value is going to exponentially decline if the price
waiting for a Monday move or a Tuesday move.
If the price trades flat all this week, he's going to go more and more in the red. So it's good for him to start tweeting tonight and really kick off a run and get a Monday, Tuesday pop and dump those calls. That's what I would be doing if I was him.
Yeah, because if you thought that there was some long-term investment thesis, you'd think you'd see leaps.
He's already got millions
because
of dollars.
That was his original options position. They were long-dated leaps.
But he's got millions of dollars. We pulled up his position. He's got millions of dollars in the green on GameStop. So he doesn't
in actual shares.
Right. He doesn't need to exercise another $240 million worth of options.
This is a short-term swing play. Yeah.
I think it's a swing play for him. That's just my opinion.
In which case I start to wonder, like, I don't want to say that there is going to be some sort of like regulatory position, but I think there'll be some looking into it, because if you're trying to pump Twitter sentiment, and then you've got a call position you expose. Like, he may not actually get, an actual filing against him, but there's going to be some people looking at that going, that seems a little sus.
Yeah. Cody says he was 32,000 up, I guess he said. Could have paid off my car, and I listened to everyone to hold and only made 5,000. See that? Well,
at least you made out with 5,000. That's a lot better than a lot of people.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen this story play out over and over the last 3 years in the dozens and dozens and dozens of retail communities that I've participated in and watched, and it really just breaks my heart to see people doing this over and over with the ridiculous price targets. And I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, in 3 years of covering AMC, I never gave a price target, and I've certainly rejected any attempt to be tempted by people in the comments to talk about some crazy
right.
Like, I don't talk about catalysts or any of this stuff that the other channels talk about. If anything, it was going to be an unknown catalyst that the shorts couldn't plan for. What is Roaring Kitty giving us right here? This was a fucking unknown catalyst. Could anyone have anticipated this? Absolutely not. This is why they got wrecked 2 weeks ago. This is the moment that we've been waiting for, the unknown catalyst. Anything else, all the rules, Evergrande, SEC,
it's all nonsense.
They can plan for all of that. They know about it. So the only thing in my mind that ever catches them off guard is something unknown. That's why I don't talk about any of that stuff. As far as price targets, well, my price target's probably going to disappoint you. That's why I don't give it, because I go off of
unknowns.
I go off of known short interest. The only way a crazy price target happens is if I'm completely wrong and everybody else is right, and there's 5 billion synthetics, and then I'll still be happy. It's still a win-win, but like, nobody can come and say, oh, well, Tony's been telling us for 3 years there's 5 billion synthetics. No, you're not going to find me saying that for 3 years every day. You're just not.
Speaking of unknown variables, I just want to put this out of here while we still got the live stream going. Middle of this month, FOMC.
Is it before the 21st?
FOMC is, because I know I have the day off and I'll be live streaming. I believe it's the 12th.
Sure would be nice if it was this week.
Nope, it's next week.
Tony R says, where is Phil for real? Did the shorts cover? And what are we talking about? I used to talk to Phil about once a month. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He got I think he's a great dude. He got kind of involved in that Twitter stuff with Corey, Corex, right?
Yeah, I know about Corey.
So, I think Phil's a good guy, but I can't get involved in that whole Corey doxing people stuff. So,
swatting people.
Yeah, I'm just not. At some point, even though I think Phil's a good guy, if Corey's his friend, I just don't want to be any part of that.
That's still a lot of problems with the meme stock people. You get suckered into this kind of sort of cult mentality, and people who are good, honest people, they what is it that Stephen Hassan uses? They have their own person who they are really, and then they have their cult persona. And so long as they're in the cult, they're in that cult persona mindset, and they can be a person that you talk with, and you sit down and you have a great conversation.
Oh yeah, I love
Phil. Really great person.
I love Phil. I'd go to his house and meet him for a beer and cook some steaks. But when he chooses friends that I don't think are really the type of people I want to be involved with, I just gotta.
And that's what I try and do is, like, I know I'm an obnoxious person. I know I'm kind of an asshole. I'll admit that freely, but there's a lot of these people that I think if you sat down and had a chat with them, they're pretty honest people. They're just trapped in that cult mind think. And these are really great people that I like, that I bet you could have a beer with, but.
Well, hopefully for everybody, with all the craziness going on, at some point, all of these stocks, maybe GameStop will have a beautiful run this week, and AMC will be lifted up with it, and everybody can be released from their shackles.
Look, I'll
being in the red.
I think we can both finish the drink on it. Like, regardless if you're long or short or whatever your thesis is, I hope you all make money next week.
I am not short anything, and I am all in cash in my meme stock part of my portfolio. So I hope these stocks fucking run tomorrow. And yes, I will be up early. And
or even if it's not short puts, like I hope the best for whoever's out there. I hope you make money next week.
Yeah,
this upcoming week.
And I hope, wherever it runs to, I want to hear reports. If it runs next week and then comes back down, I want to hear reports of Tony, thanks to you, I locked in some money and was able to pay off, catch up on my credit cards or pay my car off or something. I don't want to hear I rode it all the way up and rode it back down. I don't want to hear that. I get tired of hearing that.
It just eats me up that people who have the opportunity to change their life situation, they get trapped in a group think, and it hurts.
All right, guys, we're going to call it because we want to be up early. That is like only 7 hours from now.
Theoretically.
And because, huh? What?
Theoretically.
No, I'm going to be up.
Okay.
I have not been sleeping very well because I've been sick, and I've been taking Theraflu and Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus, but I'm going to not do any medicine tonight.
That vapor rub going.
Yeah, I'm not going to do any medicine so I can be lucid in the morning, crystal clear, and my body clock will automatically wake me up. I don't even set an alarm. I just wake up. And
I've gotten to that too, where it's like I used to set an alarm, but now it's just 8 o'clock right before market.
I'll tell you guys what, if Weeble is running in the morning, I'll set up a morning live stream. How about that?
Hey, if it's fun enough to drop in,
if it's fun and if it's moving, if it's just trading sideways, But yeah, I'll hang out with y'all if it's. We'll start.
Heck yeah!
It'll be 5 o'clock somewhere. No, I'm just.
I'm
gonna be drinking coffee.
I love that song, by the way. That's my life motto.
Correct. Thank you for your time, guys. We love you. Thank you. Hopefully you learned something about Keith Gill, Roaring Kitty. We're going to continue this. I could see, even if it's just me, I love having Corex on, Mediocre. I've invited some other people and maybe they'll make one of these other ones, but I think it's important for y'all to hear how a value investor looked at this play, even if it's not just about GameStop, so you kind of get in my mind how I look at other stocks. Because you guys always hear me and everyone thinks, oh, he hates.
And it's a great opportunity to learn so much.
You think Tony hates every stock. I don't hate every stock because a lot of them are just not at a price where I'm ready to buy them yet.
Exactly.
Because we have a different way of looking at things. But I'm very curious to see over the next couple segments of this, how he starts transitioning into the short squeeze guy. And I'm going to ride my calls and then exercise them at $100 or where. I think that'll be fascinating. So we'll get there over the next couple segments. So I hope to see y'all participate in those or watch them on a replay and leave me a comment. Thank you, Corex. You have any closing thoughts?
I think the best closing thought is, just keep an open mind. Don't get trapped in this groupthink thing. If you see it run up, take profits and don't be ashamed that you didn't catch the very tippy top. Be happy that you made money. That is the big thing. Like I have it on my soundboard on my Discord. You play to win the game, as Herm Edwards says. And if you were making money, you are winning the game, and be happy with that.
If that is your biggest fear that you're not going to time the top, have brackets. That's why, like when I buy call options, I buy them in multiples of 2. Because you know how awkward it is if you just have one and a stock starts running. Oh, shit, what do I do?
Yeah.
Do I sell it or hold on in case it keeps running? When I get in that situation, I always sell one, lock in some gains, let the other one ride on the house money.
Play to win the game.
Play to win. And when it comes back down, if you love the company, you know what the fundamental value is. Hopefully, if you've been paying attention, and you can buy back in and maybe there'll be another run. Anywho, we're going to run the outro. Love you guys. Have a good night. Get some sleep, and we will see you in the morning.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today.